The Pat McAfee Show.
There will be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, sir. Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Friday. Feel Good Friday, September 24th, 2021, years after zero. This show begins right now. Now, although it is only 11 a.m. on YouTube, I say good afternoon because the serious listeners are hearing this as the first hour. I want to let you all know we appreciate the hell out of you for joining us today. The Toxic Table is looking fantastic at Boston Connor, at Ty Schmidt. Obviously, the host of has to be the highest percentage hitting gambling show ever. By far, the COVID Cowboy at 10 Diggs. Last night, I'm not doing great right now. It's a feel-good Friday, so inevitably I'll get out of this, and I'll start feeling better about myself and everything going on in my life, and I'll be pumped to get to Philadelphia tonight for Smack Dahn. But right now, I'm still kind of walloping in my sorrows here, and the issue is that same game parlay last night should have hit.
Oh, yeah. It was on its way.
You all saw it. Mm-hmm. We all saw it. Last night, the Carolina Panthers go into Houston, and they cover, and they get a win. And Sam Darnold is looking like a much better quarterback than he had ever looked when he was with the New York Giants. There was moments whenever he was with when he was with the New York Jets. There was moments whenever he was playing under the Adam Gase umbrella that you thought, wow, this guy does stink at football. Yeah. Just a turnover machine. Mm-hmm. Just like he was in college at his last year. Got a lot of turnovers, but everybody says when you're with a bad team, you're a quarterback, you're going to force things, you're going to try to make plays. Then he came into the NFL, still made some of those bad decisions, and some of his people that were supporting him said, well, he's trying to make plays because he's the only person on the team. And on the other side, it was like, well, their team stinks because he turns the ball over. So we didn't really know what was going to happen when Carolina got their hands on Sam Darnold. Joe Brady, though, Matt Rule, old Phil Snow, the defense coordinator, they got it figured out. It feels like that team is humming. It feels like that team is rolling. It feels like Sam Darnold is this rebirth down in the Queen City. And they don't go downtown, they go uptown in Charlotte. It feels like Sam Darnold is balling out. Yeah. Now, is that because the Tannehill effect and the Adam Gase effect and everything like that? And somebody released even more information on that potential curse. So whenever you're playing for Adam Gase, you're probably going to stink. But then immediately upon leaving the Adam Gase umbrella, you will actually get much better. Kevin Clark, a man who I think doesn't like Adam Gase, Kevin Clark tweeted, you think the Gase thing is a funny little meme because Tannehill and Darnold improved post-Gase? And because the Broncos won the Super Bowl immediately after he left? Then you see he left LSU after 2002 and they won the national title in 2003. Then you realize how deep it truly goes. And Kevin Clark was not done yet. He said, I regret to inform you, this is not a joke. Adam Gase's Michigan High School, Marshall, won the state title in the first season after his 1996 graduation.
Jeez.
This is good luck Chuck in football.
Yeah.
Now, will you bring Adam Gase in if you know your team's going to stink? And then, okay, we'll fire him, and then that'll automatically get us back in there. Nice. I'm not sure. But the big storyline coming out of last night isn't that we called that the Panthers were going to go into Houston and cover. It wasn't that we thought that the over was going to hit, which it was very low and also was very close to hitting. But a missed extra point also affects some things a little bit there. But whenever you talk about Christian fucking McCaffrey, you're talking about a guy who's just so explosive. So entertaining, so electrifying. There was a play last night where he looked like he was going to be stopped for a 2-yard loss. He did this little side cut, bounce back L1 thing, and then boom, split the defense. It was like old school Le'Veon Bell. He has the old school Le'Veon Bell magic man. Now you see me. Now you don't. Ooh. Le'Veon Bell had that. Christian McCaffrey has that. He also has incredible hands, explosion. He's willing to do whatever for his team at all times. And Troy Aikman actually said last night on the broadcast, he said, hey, I got to go down on the field for warm-ups for the first time in a long time. I was getting a chance to see the players. Christian McCaffrey's legs, because he's been rehabbing, are huge, he said. 2 minutes later, his hamstring popped off his fucking butt.
My God.
Yeah.
Commentator curse.
I don't know if that's commentator curse. I don't know if it's the same game curse people are potentially saying.
No.
I was getting a lot of that last night. I just want to let you know. Christian McCaffrey's hamstring, I guess, pretty severely either ripping or tearing, is an absolute bummer for every NFL fan. Christian McCaffrey is awesome to watch, and he was only getting heated up. There was still 12 minutes left or 10 minutes left, I think, in the second quarter, and he was just starting to roll. It was getting into the red zone. It seemed like their defense, who is very good this year, flying around. They're getting the ball back. They were going to have another couple possessions, I think, in that first half. And then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, on a simple, basic, standard stutter step that they actually showed zoomed in, replay, slow-mo, no less than 55 times last night.
Oh, yeah.
Out of nowhere, he's gone to the medical tent. Hamstrings are no fun. You can't just sew them back together. You kind of have to wait them out. They're going to be annoying. They're going to be a nuisance. So who knows how long it'll be until Christian McCaffrey is back. But this is one of those things that we're talking about. It is a shame that he is gone. And a lot of people are pointing a finger at Thursday Night Football. Maybe there wasn't enough recovery time. Now, we're only in week 3 or whatever of the NFL season, so I don't think that is a valid argument at this point. People should be fresh, including... Not fresh. They're still beating the hell out of us. But you understand what we're saying there. But losing Christian McCaffrey in the first half not only changed last night's same game parlay much for the worse. We probably hit the over and he scores. I mean, that is...
Yeah. Different story.
I mean, he could have already scored. Sam Darnold fucking... I want to score.
That guy.
He said, I want to score. Everybody was literally watching the game, at least me, because I had him to score in the first half. Just watch Christian McCaffrey as soon as they got tackled on the 4-yard line. Whenever he came across, it was like, oh, there he is. Camera people, I think, even were on there. Oh, the same game parlay is about to hit. Here we go.
Nice.
And then Sam Darnold goes, nope, this one's from me, actually.
Sorry.
Yeah, Adam Gase, fuck him. Scores touchdown. But last night, the game got incredibly boring.
Oh, yeah.
So bad.
Davis Mills, I assume he's potentially going to be an okay quarterback at some point. I don't know if he's necessarily in the right situation to have super success. The neck is obviously something very impressive. Coach Dave was chewing his tongue again on TV.
Yeah.
I mean, the Houston Texans are a team that had covered, and then Tyrod Taylor with another hamstring. He's out. Now they got Davis Mills. Who knows what the rest of this season looks like, while they're still having to handle the entire... there's a rather large situation happening with the person that is the largest portion of their salary cap, who also happens to be in the largest position of importance in football at quarterback with Deshaun Watson, that they have to rule out every single week. There was 22, I think, very serious allegations off the field happening. The NFL still has not put him on the exemption list. I'm not 100% sure why. I don't know how that works, why that works. Why would they want Houston to have to come out and broadcast every single week that they're not going to address? It just doesn't feel like that's, and there's no way he's going to be able to play with 22 of these types of, these are very serious allegations. Yeah. I think everybody has the same mindset, like, hey, that shit has to get figured out first before we deal with any of this other stuff, except for it feels like the exemption list, which was created for this type of thing. I think the Houston Texans season, we had a lot of high hopes for it there earlier with what Tyrod Taylor was able to do. I think it is potentially going to turn into what we potentially thought it was going to be going into the season. There's a lot of distractions down there.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of faith in Pep Hamilton and Coach Dave Colley after hearing from him, and Tyrod Taylor is a legend and everything like that. And they got some great running backs. I get it. But there's a lot of distractions in that building, and that is not conducive to winning football games. So I don't know if last night was all Carolina just being absolutely dominant, or Houston potentially, not really doing much good stuff for football. But I'm worried about J.C. Horn. I'm worried about Christian McCaffrey. I'm happy for Sam Darnold, and I'm worried about the Houston Texans after Thursday Night Football.
Yeah, and it kind of just reinforces how hard it is to play quarterback in the NFL. I mean, it's not like anyone was gassing up Dave Mills like he was going to blow them out of the water, but I feel like a lot of people kind of had just this general disrespect towards Tyrod Taylor, but he makes them a much different football team. And on the other side, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. McCaffrey's too explosive for his own good almost. And now we will see. I mean, I feel like this is just like last year with Teddy Bridgewater. We'll see how good Sam Darnold is if he doesn't have Christian McCaffrey. And obviously their defense changes a little bit with J.C. Horn. So we'll see going forward.
Listen, and to your point about quarterbacking, and I don't know how Mills did in Stanford. I should have watched more Stanford games. I assume he was good, okay? Third round draft pick.
But yeah.
Third round draft pick. I guess he's pretty good. He was their first pick they had. Well, they also didn't have a pick.
Yeah.
So, that kept being a thing. The first pick that they had, they picked this. It's like, oh, so you're saying that what they thought was most important, as opposed to saying, hey, the best person that's currently available in our ranking is this. But if you think about, You go back to Urban Meyer's comments, the Vic Fangio, it's like every week is Alabama. And then Todd Haley, I think yesterday said like a super Alabama, though. Chuba Hubbard, remember, he was supposed to be like superstar.
Oh, yeah.
And he's still going to potentially be good, and he had the same quickness and explosiveness. But ain't nobody watching that going like, okay, Chuba Hubbard, Christian McCaffrey are the same player. No, you know what I mean? That is, and that's just on one team. Chuba, remember how good Chuba was in college football? Absolutely. And then you lose Christian McCaffrey. It's like everybody in there, including the team, is like, okay, Chuba's a good player. Hey, this is a good player. He's in the NFL. He's a good player. Maybe he'll have enough burst because he seemed to have a couple very Christian McCaffrey, like legs still driving late and a couple good cuts. And I assume he's only going to get better, but that's the difference between the men's league, in college. Like there is a vast difference in those two, skill levels and everything. And that's why you never know if any of these rookies are going to work out. You have no idea if these rookies are going to work out. Now we just got to hope that, Sam Darnold and the boys can continue to win and do their thing until Christian McCaffrey gets back out there and somehow his hamstring says, you know what, I'm going to fucking join back together with you on the other side of his hamstring. I don't know how you fix hamstrings. I have no idea how you do it. I've never, luckily, even though I can't touch my toes, I've never experienced a pulled hammy or anything like that. Had a groin, had a hip flexor, because that's kind of like the soccer stuff that's going to happen. I think I even had a calf one time after 2 a.m. cramp came. And I think it just like continued to be a little bit of a pull there. Never had the hammy. The hammy, though, seems to be a fucking nightmare for everybody.
Yeah, well, when you're that explosive, you can't be running 25 miles an hour and then skipping in the air and expecting your hamstring not to
you're
rip
blaming
off of
Christian
your body.
McCaffrey. No, this is not a Carson Wentz situation.
I'm not blaming him, but we have talked about he's damn near too explosive and he's going to get hurt. But to your point about the rookie quarterbacks, like Sam Darnold, 3 years and everyone thinks he stinks for 3 entire football seasons, goes to a different place, and now all of a sudden he's, great or at least good enough to be a starter in the NFL, and they're already comparing him to Tannehill, and Tannehill has been pretty damn efficient over the past 3 years when he's gotten away from Gase.
Tannehill got another $100 million contract after leaving Adam Gase. Now that is, if Darnold continues to go, and remember, all those quarterback gurus, Jordan Palmer's, all the other guys that talk like quarterbacking, they're like, I think Orlovsky, Sam Darnold is a great football player.
Yeah.
If he goes to the right situation, and I think a lot of quarterbacks think that because maybe if they, like quarterback gurus don't seem to be the, like the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's quarterbacks that have been around the Mount Rushmore quarterbacks who are also very good and maybe have a different like brain, like an analytical brain, and like break down that whole thing. And I wonder if whenever they say stuff like that, I think to myself, like they're talking about like, hey, if I would have been in a good situation too, like I feel like I see a lot of me in this quarterback or whatever, because there's a lot of quarterbacks I assume that have come into the NFL in a terrible situation and have just been labeled busts.
Yeah.
And then their family, their community, everybody that they've ever been around, like they know they've been around the guy, but the narrative about him is, no, this guy's a bust. So I think whenever some of those quarterbacks that are quarterback gurus see a situation like Tannehill happen and like Darnold happen, if this continues to happen and goes on, remember, we're only 3 games into this thing. But if this goes on to be a super success story, I think that makes them feel much better. Like, yeah, this is not just these guys, by the way. There's numerous guys around the NFL that probably would have made it if they had the right situation. But then there's also guys we see get on the field. It's like, how do these guys get this situation? They fucking stink out there,
Well, it seems like a lot of those guys too, and I'm sure they know, a lot of these quarterbacks pretty well, but I feel like all the time it's like their physical attributes, like, oh, he's big, he's got a bunch of arm talent and stuff like that. But when, talking to Aaron, hearing Peyton every Monday night, what Tom's doing, like what's going on between the ears is
the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
There's the difference, man.
Because obviously if you're getting drafted in the first round, like you have the arm talent, you're big, you're athletic, but there are only so many guys that are wired like that between the ears.
And once again, I do not want to ever act as if I'm anywhere near that stratosphere of the humans they just talked about. But there's a lot of humans that can kick a ball somewhat close to how far I can kick a ball.
Right.
There's a lot of people that can catch footballs just as good as Devontae Adams. There's a lot, maybe not, but you get it. Like there is the difference between good and great is in between your ears, and that is it. You'll see people with bad bodies who can't lift as much, but somehow they become these elite pros, and guys that look like Tarzan have no chance at all for some reason. It's like, well, that's because it's not necessarily just about the physical attributes. The brain is the thing that you need. There's traits that I assume it's hard to figure out in an interview process whether they're going to have it or not. And you just got to hope. And I think that's what you hear a lot of scouting and front office people talk about, and coaches. You just got to hope that your guy has it. You just got to, like Sirianni doing rock, paper, scissors and cornhole and shooting basketballs against, like, I think that is his best attempt at, like, I think I can figure out in the middle of this whether or not this guy wants to really, is going to be a guy who's like going to flip the checkers board if he's going to lose.
Right.
Like that is the difference between those who go and get it and those who are like, okay, they're good. Hey, you did it. Congratulations, you were good. And then there's the people that just go. And I'm not saying that I was one of those people, but I think people would, I'm 6'1", most punters 6'3", 6'4". I mean, I was faster than a lot of them, and also I'd kicked the soccer ball against the side of my house the entire time, but I couldn't touch my toes. I didn't have the best technique. I literally only learned how to do the NFL style of punt when I got into the NFL because I was doing the Aussie style in college, basically. So I have a lot of respect for any of the Aussies that can come over and turn into that whole thing. But I just feel like there was no way I wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, and how do you know everybody has that thing? You know, like how do you know that they got it? And that's what separates the good and the great, and that's the difference between college and pros, and that's what is the difference between, you know, just making vet men and being, you know, the highest paid player at every position. It's all the mental thing, and it's hard to address that whenever you go through the combine time and everybody's talking about how impressive these stats are and everything like that. It's like, that is awesome. Hey, I fucking love that guy. Let's go. He's explosive. Is he going to like his teammates, or his teammates going to like him?
Yeah.
And is he going to buy into whatever you need him to do to win? Like, that is the most important thing. And I think that's why, like, the Patriots, Chuck Pagano told us the other day, they got a bunch of high football IQ guys who just are willing to do whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, why doesn't everybody do that? You know, I asked Chuck that, like, why doesn't everybody fuck up rookie quarterbacks like Bill Belichick? Why doesn't it happen? He's like, well, there's a lot more to that than just doing that. And that's that whole step of investing and properly appreciating, like, the mental state of your players and everything like that. I just think there's a difference. I just think there's different levels to this shit. And who knows if Sam Darnold's got it or not? I guess we're going to find out.
Well, and that's why not everyone in the first round, like, works out. Like, if that was the case, then Russell Wilson wouldn't have been a third, fourth round pick or whatever the hell he was. Like, those dudes, once they get in there, if they are those guys like you're talking about who are wired differently and can go and get it and go from good, because everyone that goes
also
to the
be good teammates.
Yeah.
Like, that's not an easy thing to do. Because you got to be incredibly selfish to want to go. You hear it in all the Hall of Fame speeches. I apologize to my wife and to my kids. I was not around enough. I had to go do blah, blah, blah. We're going to try to make up for that. And, like, you hear it, not all of them, but most of them, because you have to be incredibly selfish to get to that incredibly high upper echelon of anything, by the way. Not just sports, but anything. You got to be incredibly selfish. You got to worry about what you're doing at all times. There's no time for any other shit. It's like, hey, I'm on a mission to get where I got to go. Now, you would hope that those people would also lift up others around them. But yeah, I think, like, that is such a big deal. Being incredibly selfish with your goals and motives and mission almost, while also being cool enough to relate to other people around you and make them better. That is a tough thing to do. And I think a lot of these super talented people have this incredible ability to, whenever they're around other people, to almost root for other people as well.
Yeah.
So they can be selfish and root for other people. And it's like, hey, we can all come together. But those people that only care about themselves, you know, normally aren't going to make it. And because in a team sport, maybe in golfing, boxing, disc
MMA.
golf, MMA, maybe some other things when you don't need anybody else. But the team aspect is such a big deal. That's why I'm excited to see Sam Darnold. Like, I'm excited to see if Sam Darnold's a guy or not, because we have no idea. Matt Rule said he was playing well within the system, and he was making some great plays. And Matt Rule talked about a couple throws. And by the way, Matt Rule's a guy who was successful in college coaching with Temple and Baylor. Had Baylor college game day almost in a goddamn playoff down there. I don't know if that's going to happen again with Baylor. Sick of the Bears. I could have died.
Could have.
Yeah.
if a log was floating through the Brazos, that place is beautiful, the old Brazos flop or whatever. But he's now gone over there. Last year, everybody's talking about he's making good decisions, he's doing good things, he set up the good. They didn't win a lot of games. This year, they started undefeated, a lot of chatter. He did start in the NFL, though. So his original job, I think, maybe he started at Penn State, but he was in the NFL at some point before becoming a head coach in college. That probably changed how he was a head coach in college. I'm not sure. I wasn't in there. I just got a chance to chat with him and some of his players. He's like, I'm just about football, man. I don't give a fuck about anything. Like, I'm just about football. He said, this is not like a fun place to play. Like, I think a lot of colleges are like, hey, it's fun to play here. Rules like, we're just about football.
Yeah.
And I think that's that business mindset that he probably picked up whenever he was in the NFL. Urban Meyer, I don't think he ever coached in the NFL. Never. He started in college where it was like, you got to deal with 18-year-olds to get them there. And then at 21, they're probably leaving. 22, they're gone. It's a whole different ball game if you don't have that inner, working of the relationship with like 35-year-old men, 40-year-old men. You can't just treat them like 20-year-old kids. You know what I mean? You got to change and adapt, or they'll probably end up leaving and everything like that,
Yeah, but, sometimes if those guys do end up leaving, then, the team will have a little bit of a down year, and then they'll get their next future quarterback for the next 20 years, like, right after it. So sometimes it works out for both the 40-year-old acting like a 20-year-old and, the 60-year-old who won't change his ways.
My question to you, and we talked, complimented Matt Rule there, I think, while added in that there's probably why Urban Meyer might take a little bit to adapt because there's two different styles of coaching and dealing with humans there, right? Because that's what you're really just dealing with humans there. Speaking of dealing with humans, I mean, New England's getting the story out of New England with Tom Brady. I thought that was all settled down. I thought we were past that.
We are. Not everyone is.
I don't. New England folks got a book coming out on their side, I guess.
Yeah.
Seth, what's his name?
Wickersham,
who did text me to come on the show or whatever and chit-chat. He sounds like a good guy, but the only stories that are coming out is basically the New England Patriots burying Tom Brady. Is that what's happening right now?
I don't know if it's the New England Patriots. I really haven't heard much about it. There were some radio shows in Boston talking about that. It definitely does kind of paint the narrative around Brady not being like this god that he is. I said this yesterday. It's very hard to like hate players when you like do this type of business just because like there's so much. Yeah, like just by talking about them, because you become so much more appreciative of them. And like with the Rodgers situation, this Brady situation, like there's so much more to it than just a player playing for a team and supporting a fan base. It's like there's business. Yeah, there are humans that goes into this. There's business. There's so many other things. Like I don't hate Brady, but I do hate Brady, if that makes any sense. Like I can sit here and say like, oh, I don't like Brady, but that's strictly because he doesn't play for the fucking Patriots anymore. Like,
you hate a lot. You hate Carson Wentz.
I hate everybody. I hate everybody who doesn't have a New England uniform on when they play on Sunday. But it's I don't think this is ever going to end until either Brady comes out and just says, okay, this is what happened. This is how I feel. This is why I wanted to leave. This because all that you're hearing is from Guerrero, Brady's dad.
Now, you would assume that what Guerrero's saying, though, has probably been chit-chatted at least once or twice with Tom Brady, who's like his best friend.
Yeah, right? And his dad.
Yeah, and Guerrero said, the interesting thing I think there is, and this is just me, he said, an outsider looking in, because Belichick would not let him in the building, I guess. At one point, they kicked him out. It was like Bill Belichick never really, I think his emotions or feelings never really evolved with age, said Alex Guerrero. I think in time with Tom, as Tom got into his late 30s or early 40s, I think Bill was still trying to treat him like that 20-year-old kid that he drafted. And all the players, I think, realized, like, hey, Tom's different. He's older, so he should be treated differently. And all the players, none of them would have cared that he was treated differently. I think that was such a Bill thing. He never evolved. So you can treat someone who's in his 40s like they're 20, it doesn't work. So you can't treat someone in their 40s like they're 20. It doesn't work. By the way, I agree.
So do I.
I very much agree with what he said. And that's kind of what we all thought was potentially happening in there. Because all you ever heard was, hey, Bill coaches Tom just like he coaches everybody else. And it was always passed off as like a super positive thing. Like, hey, Bill treats everybody the exact same. Everybody's expected to be the exact same. And I always said, like, Tom allowing that to happen as a superstar quarterback, as the greatest of all time, is a trait that does not get talked about whenever people talk about Tom enough.
Yeah.
Like Tom allowing Bill Belichick to publicly in front of the entire team, just kind of chop him down almost, you know, like, hey, just because everybody's the exact same. That is a trait I think that we should find admirable in Tom Brady at a position that has been, I don't want to say coddled forever, but the quarterback is treated a different way because if you have a quarterback, you have a team. If you don't have a quarterback, you don't have a team. So the fact that Tom allowed it to happen for like 20 years, I think that is a trait that we should also talk about is like, okay, this guy's the most competitive guy of all time. He's cerebral of all time, seems to never back down in big situations. He makes every throw. He lifts up all his teammates, but also he allowed his coaching staff and his coaches to talk to him as if he was an undrafted free agent who had accomplished nothing. Like, I think that is a trait we should talk about. Now, Guerrero saying that, it's clear that that is what had happened. And that is why, you know, Johnny or Tommy Foxborough or whatever it was called, that whole thing happened because you could see how a grown-ass fucking man who's 38 years old, who has 6 Super Bowls, or 40 years old, who has 5 Super Bowls, I don't know what age he won when, you could see at some point he'd be like, hey, I'm fucking done with it. Like, talk to me like I'm a human, like I'm a man, because I've been around here just as long as everybody else. And I've been on the field as long as everybody. You could see how he could get to that point. And you could also see how old dog new tricks, Bill Belichick.
Right.
Oh, we've won doing this.
Yeah, it's worked.
This is what works. And it's painted by the everybody, the media, like, hey, this is what you do. This is how you win. Do the Patriot way. And I wonder if there's a lot of coaches, and you've heard coaches say this. You can do the Patriot way when you have Tom Brady, who's not only taking pay cuts, but he's also allowing you to chew him out if he's making any mistakes. I think that's what a lot of coaches are saying, because when you're talking about humans, think about yourself if you're listening to this and you think Tom Brady should shut the fuck up and do his thing. If you're 35 years old and you're the greatest of all time, it's already been, and you got somebody just berating you on Monday morning team meetings in front of everybody for every mistake you make, one, at some point you'd be like, you know what, I'm fucking sick of this. Like, I'm not going to do this. Now, I guess people will do that, and I could see Bill's side, by the way, and I can obviously see Tom's side. So I think it's like almost more impressive that they didn't split earlier. Like the fact that Tom continued to take that, and I'm 34 right now. I've accomplished nothing. I couldn't even fathom if some somebody that we worked would just do that every single day, especially when I'm already pissed off at myself, you know, like I couldn't even imagine it. So I think that is a trait we should talk about in positive lights, but I feel like those two, we're only going to learn more and more and more, and I bet they have great respect for each other. It's just two very different ways of looking at life and how we should go about doing things as I continue to grow older.
And we'll see what happens if he does evolve, because if this situation kind of repeats itself, I'm not saying Mac Jones will be anything near Tom Brady, because I don't know if anybody ever in the history of sports will be able to do that again. But if Mac does have success and, you know, he gets into his 30s, and granted, Bill might still be there at like 98 years old coaching the Patriots, but you do wonder if he kind of learns from this and changes his ways a little, because we were talking about it. Like, Mac could easily go to Bill and be like, hey, we don't have to hate each other here. We can work together on this and, you know, have kind of a different relationship than you did in the past and still be successful.
Bill, so you're 21 years old. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit your fucking ass down.
Yeah.
I'll see how it all plays out. But the more and more we hear from Tom's dad and Guerrero, who is on the field and in the building with the Bucs every single day with him, it's the only thing that has really been around as much as like Giselle almost, right? In Tom Brady's life. So whenever you hear him, it's like, okay, this is their side of things. And it's like, that makes sense to me. If you're talking about a human, which is what Tom Brady, I mean, it looks like he's not. Sometimes he has avocado ice cream and his chocolate and all that shit. He looks like an alien, but you could see how those feelings potentially, don't I deserve a little bit more respect around here?
Makes sense.
No respect. Back in 4 minutes with a guy who hates everything, Coach JB.
Yes.
Today's event is me versus a Carolina Reaper pepper. A pepper that has what?
2.2 million Scoville on average. I think it's pretty much the hottest pepper in the world.
In comparison, a jalapeno is
6,000 Scoville.
For every second after it is in my mouth, I don't grab this milk. We'll give $25 to a random person in the comment section right now. $4,500 feels like a good amount to give away, though. And that'd be 3 minutes. This is going to be a long 3 minutes.
That's redder than devil's dick. That crunch. How we doing so far? Doesn't look too bad.
I should have taken a drink of water beforehand, though, because I think I had a dry mouth. I had a little cotton mouth. Oh.
Oh, okay. Once the hiccups start, I think you're just about done for. What's your biggest regret in life? Do you have 2 more minutes in you?
I think it's just starting to hit like the peak. The curve on this thing is just starting to go up.
You are handling this much better than Bill did, though. You are, yeah. Billy Tubes was puking 10 seconds in. 130. 130.
It's burning my esophagus.
Do you feel like you're going to puke?
Oh, I do.
And that milk looks ice cold, too.
No!
Beer that broke my heart. Hey, one more. Yep. Now we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Dance with me.
How you feel now?
A little bit better, but not great. Oh, God. That's a bad idea. I need more.
More milk.
Oh, God, God. Yikes.
How are ya? I'm Roman, a men's health brand that can dance very well and make you the best you possible. Are you suffering from male pattern baldness? Dahn, we got something for that. Herpes. See ya. Premature ejaculation? Gone. No more coming too quick. Allergies as well. And that's not all. We have clinically tested supplements for everything, including erectile dysfunction. Come on! Bye-bye! GetRoman.com/Pat. Be the best you possible.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
Welcome back to that show. Feel Good Friday, September 24th, 2021. Still a little bit upset about what happened last night. Christian McCaffrey's hamstring said, I quit. I don't know what that's all about. Speedy recovery to him and J.C. Horn. Panthers did cover. Mostly a snooze fest, though, on Thursday Night Football. Oh, yeah. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman did a fantastic job, as did EA. But that game was tough to watch. Joining us now is somebody that is must-watch, basically, every single time. Who knows what the fuck's going to come out of his mouth today? Can't wait to hear it. Breaking down all things happening in the college football world, coaching world, and the world in general. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Jason Brown. Yeah! What was that? How many?
15, dog.
All right, you owe me 5. You owe me 5 still. We'll get that at some point. We'll get that.
I owe you 20?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there was a lot of people. There was a lot. I mean, there was only like 7 people actually really offended, but they were really offended. You know what I mean?
Hey, don't do the crime. You can't do the time.
It's 8:35 in the morning over there. I appreciate you waking up with us and doing some push-ups here, Coach JB. How's the week been, pal?
Oh, man, busy. You know how it is. Another day, another dollar.
What happened to Christian McCaffrey last night, Coach?
Oh, he fucked me.
What happened?
I don't know what happened, man. Hopefully he didn't tear it off the bone. Obviously, he walked in the locker room, so he probably just slightly tore it. I don't know. He would have came back, in my opinion, knowing his old man, his family, he would have came back and played, in my opinion. I think he's a little old school.
I think so too, by the way. Almost bad, right? And I want to ask you about this with like Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is old school, right? No play left behind. And we had talked about Christian McCaffrey and Carson Wentz being like, hey, these two guys, every single play, they go to death almost. Literally, in Carson Wentz sprained 2 sprains. Carson Wentz sprained both of his ankles. And now Christian McCaffrey, I'm not saying this is why, but there's a couple guys out there that are old school, it seems like, and it's almost to a detriment at some points, you know?
Wait, you think Carson Wentz is old school?
Bro, have you seen him play football? He tries to die on every single play. Have you seen this
really?
guy?
I don't see it that way, but I know he was on the show, so I don't want to.
No, what are your thoughts? You don't like
I think he's the second most overrated quarterback in the
NFL.
Tell him, Coach. Tell him.
Why?
Man, you guys are is he just because he's in Indy now?
Yes.
Come on.
Yeah.
Philly?
Just give your fucking answer. All right, will you please? You don't need. Why do you think he's overrated?
I think he's a bust. I think he had a good year with a good team in Philly, and ever since then he's underachieved. I think they hyped him up too fast, and that's the product of the world we live in. We want to make sure we judge everybody before their resumes are fucking written. That's the problem nowadays. Everybody's the best coach in the world year 1. Everybody's the best player in the world year 1. Like, Justin Fields needs to start. He's the best ever. Motherfucker, he hasn't even played a game yet. Last year, Burrow's the best ever I've ever seen as a rookie. Fucking blows his knee out. Like, let the dudes make their fucking resume and let them complete it first. At least let them get about 4 or 5 years on a resume. Like, I'm on the other side of the whole Mahomes thing. Like, today, Stephen A., I still take Mahomes number 1. I take Brady number 1. You lost twice in the playoffs. They're both Tom fucking Brady. Yeah. The last time I checked, it's results oriented. We either win or we lose. There ain't no because I throw underhanded to going to my left. You lost the Super Bowl.
Okay, all right, listen, I understand it is a win-loss business, and Chuck Pagano actually said that a couple days ago, by the way. He said football is, if you succeed, they'll keep you around. If you don't, you will leave. And for whatever reason, there's always a lot of situations that kind of can brew there, but Patrick Mahomes is on his way to chasing Tom Brady, which is why I think everybody talks about that. Aaron Rodgers is another guy that's up there as like a Mount Rushmore guy who hasn't had enough wins yet for everybody to put him up there. So I think as these resumes are being created, it's fun to chit-chat about him, but you're right. I think there's too many burials and too many crownings that happen.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, to me, I put Aaron Rodgers above Mahomes. No question about it. People put Mahomes above Aaron Rodgers right now, and I'm like, first of all, Aaron has earned the right. He's been in the league longer, even though they both share one title, right? So, in my opinion, Aaron has accomplished more, and he has done more, even though they both have one ring. So, when Mahomes gets second and third ring, then you can start arguing, okay, he takes over for Aaron. But he's been in the league 3 years. Like, let's give this dude some time to really show that he is that guy, because there's been a lot of flash in the pants guys in our league. So
yeah, I agree completely. Literally, the first round is filled with them for quarterbacks. I like the first round quarterbacks are littered with, and I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes isn't, but in everything, right. Patrick Mahomes is going to be great. Let's not get crazy. But I think what you're saying is what a lot of people who are in the game think, which is like Justin Tucker, for instance, is unbelievable at kicking. Unbelievable at kicking. And even Justin Tucker would say this. Adam Vinatieri did it for like 25 years. Like, so to catch up to that, I think Justin Tucker even knows, like, okay, I'm going to have to at least go for like 15 at a high level, because to do it for 20 plus years, it's insane. That's the difference though between media, because if you judge like Adam Vinatieri at the end of his career with Justin Tucker is in the middle of the prime of his career, it's like, yeah, Justin Tucker is fucking the dude. And he might hit the cleanest ball of all time, but let's see him do it for 20 years, which is what everybody says. I couldn't do it for like Leckler length or Andy Lee length. I don't want to do it. I couldn't do it mentally, which is another skill that the greats have, is being able to stick to it to almost, you know what I mean, JB?
No, that's the problem. We live in the now, I believe. Like, everybody, what have you done for me now? That's just the life we live in. And like, people that don't know what happened yesterday only know what happens today. And then they fucking forget what happens tomorrow, because they live into now. And like, to me, like, you're watching, you don't understand what Vinatieri did for all those years. Same with Mahomes. Mahomes has to surpass 7 rings. Do we understand that? If you really want to title him the best ever at the end of this day, and he probably has to beat a 44-year-old fucking Brady.
Yeah,
who he hasn't beat yet.
And I think, I think he knows that too, though.
Oriented.
Coach, he knows that too, though. I think Patrick Mahomes. I think the guys know this, though. Like Patrick Mahomes knows this. I think Tucker knows that. Like I think everybody in the league knows that. It's always the noise around it, and I think that's why you don't see a lot of the guys like empower those things. I just personally, let's move on to some college talk, can we, though, Coach?
Yes, sir.
All right, listen.
I know I fucked up. You miss every shot you don't take, man. I had to take somebody. Fuck, I might as well take the team that's in your fucking hometown for right now.
Hey, that's a smart idea. That's a good pander. All right, I think we got a lot of Hoosiers that listen, but we also got a lot of people in Cincinnati listening. A lot of Cincinnati listeners, and that came out of nowhere too. You were like, "Hey, how about this? I got an upset of the week." And then as soon as you bring it up, it's like, okay, here we go. We write it down, and everybody gets receipts. You know what I mean? Everybody has receipts now. Do you have anything for this weekend?
You know what? I'm gonna go with the coverage though. All right, because I don't want to hear from fucking Barstool and everybody's fucking mama about how shitty I did. So
UC Barstool was attacking.
Listen, by the way, Coach Allen's a real good friend of mine. He sent me a player. I sent him a player back. He's got a D tackle of ours at Indiana. They fucking dominated Cincinnati, just so we're clear, the whole game. They left 28 points in the fucking red zone. The game should not have been close for all you fucking fans out there that know everything. But anyway, Cincinnati won fair and square. You got to take your foot out your mouth. So that's what I did. So
way to go.
I got West Virginia covering 17 against Oklahoma.
Ooh. Okay. How about 14? You like them with 14? If they were to be getting 14, would you like that or no?
Yeah, I don't think Oklahoma's very good. I'm going to be honest. I think they're overrated every year. I think they're fucking overrated again. And I don't think the quarterback's as good as everybody thinks he is. And I think West Virginia's got that backwood fucking grind.
Yeah.
And they're going to come out, and I think it'll be closer than you are. Now, when I pick a game, fuck Oklahoma win by 50, but I don't know. I got A&M Arkansas. I got that game to be a closer one than that too. I think it's a field goal game. It's a 5.5 spread by A&M's minus 5.5. I think it's a 3-point game.
Okay. Hey, this is good analysis, Coach JB. This is good analysis.
Wisconsin blowing out Notre Dame.
Oh, wow. This is the one. So this is the Indiana. Yeah, this is okay. Got it. I see what you just did there. Yeah, all right, perfect.
You know what? To be honest, I don't know if Clemson covers 10.
Hey,
the way that they're playing right now, it's a good friend of mine, Mark Jones, is calling that game. ESPN's Mark Jones, good friend of mine. His son performed at my party here. Mark is kind of on the same wavelength. He just, he interviewed DJ the other day, good friend of mine's son, quarterback at Clemson. I think he's really a true rookie, really playing, even though he ripped up Notre Dame in that one game last year. I think he's really starting to understand this is a lot of pressure on me as a true starter. I don't have sunshine behind me to come in and take over. You know what I mean?
Hey, DJ Uiagalelei. Oos obviously getting out there. I feel real good that I know his name, I think.
Hey, that's some shit. You know what? Saying that name just now, you know what that is the definition of? An athlete. You're a definition of an athlete. Can anyone define an athlete? Because people think that you play one sport or something like that, you're an athlete. It's not the case. You can be good at something after you fucking perfect it after 10,000 hours. But look at fucking Conor McGregor's throw to home base the other day. He's not a fucking athlete. Let's just be honest. Make sure you understand he can catch you with a right hook and knock you out. But he's not an athlete. See, Pat's an athlete for America out there listening. I've seen Pat because I'm the other white athlete in America. Just so we're clear, he's got a jumper. He has a nice golf stroke.
Thank you.
By the way, they used to call me Weiger Woods. So I can stroke a club. I can stroke a jumper. They call me Jimmy Crack Corn because I can shoot threes too, motherfucker. I played for a bunch of NBA players.
Okay, of course.
I can throw a football. You can do all those things. I can even punt and kick. But everyone's better at their specific trade. So Pat was a great kicker, punter, and he was an athlete. If you watch Pat, he tackled motherfuckers. He didn't care. So, but if you watch him do his other things, that's an athlete. Conor McGregor looked like he was stiff as a porn dick out there.
Bro, he literally had surgery like 3 weeks ago, the guy.
Hey, what's that doing his fucking arm? So, I mean, don't move your hips in and just throw the fucker over home plate if you're an athlete. He looks so fucking... And why don't you take off those skinny fucking jeans? I mean, or the suit.
The suit is his fashion. He's a fashion god, dude.
Yeah, he made $180 million last year, more than any other athlete. So what the fuck? Who am I to say any fucking thing? He could throw a ball into the fucking stadium for all I care.
He did. He actually did. That was the thing. He put a lot of venom on it, you know. I am a big Conor McGregor fan, but I do believe, like, I don't know if me saying Uiagalelei makes me an athlete, but I do think, like, the throw and catch thing should be accounted for whenever
Can
people
you play pool? If you had to go play pool, could you at least not embarrass yourself at a pool table?
Yeah, I've run some pool halls.
All right. How about bowling? Can you go bowl a ball?
What I did, 170 or something like
189.
Yeah.
I bowled two. Hey, Pat, I bowled 2 300 games, brother.
No! Hey, did you live in the lanes? You grew up in the lanes?
Now, my dad was really, really good, man. He was really, really good. He had I got 2 of his pins. He bowled 300 games in the Compton fucking bowling alley, which no longer exists because there is nothing entertainment-wise in Compton. So there was a bowling alley years ago, and they condemned it. But yeah, he bowled 2 300 games, and I learned from him. But I was just a natural at it, man. It's like that it factor thing, you know. You either fucking, hey, you win or you lose, man. I mean, I don't know. Shit.
All right, let's go back. That's great to hear, by the way. I would like to sit at it. This is what we'll do. We'll have to do this. We'll go to a bowling alley, and we will just rent out a couple lanes for the entire day, and we will just stream and see if this motherfucker can get a 300 in one full. When was the last time you did that? Are you anywhere near 300 time or no?
I haven't bowled in fucking 10 years. But I don't golf a lot either, and I golfed not too long ago, and I was still decent, so I don't know.
All right, I bet you'll figure it out. We'll give you a good 8 hours straight. Imagine us 7 hours into that.
Can't wait.
Imagine how mad he would be. He would be so mad.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, it'd be great.
I'd tear my hamstring like McCaffrey, real shit.
You'd be my captain, though. Can't fucking have it. You know, that's like,
No doubt.
yeah,
No
basically
doubt.
you screaming at Christian last night. Before the boys have some questions for you, and I know we're going to talk about the transfer portal and some things that you were going off on the internet. I would like to ask you, though, of DJ Uiagalelei's coach, Dabo Swinney, sprinting out there in Death Valley there running. What are your thoughts on that? Do you like Dabo? A lot of people judging Dabo for this, obviously. I was impressed at the speed he was able to reach for the sustained distance he had. What are your thoughts on that whole thing?
I was impressed that he had, 32-inch slim khakis on and did it. Because that's the hard part about everything. People look through all that other, like you say, Pat, they don't hear the message, they just hear the tone. And I look right through all that shit. He had some fucking skinny ass khakis on and did that shit without tearing his ass out, which was more impressive to me. I don't know. I'm not a big hoorah guy like that before a game. I'd rather be private with my guys when I hoorah them. I'd rather be the guy that walks out in front or whatever. But each his own. Dabo's been that guy for a long time. I got a player from him years ago when he was a receiver coach at Clemson. And he's always been that guy. So that's his energy. That's his deal. And I have no issue, man. I mean, that's what he does to get those guys right. If they buy in, though, Pat. If they don't buy in, he looks like a fucking buffoon.
Well, that's every coach, I think. And after watching what happened to Christian last night, I watched that Dabo thing, and I literally was like, oh, he's going to blow out his fucking hamstring. This is going to be – because I don't – do you recall – I mean, you haven't bowled in 10 years. Do you recall the last time you've actually, strided out? I couldn't even tell you. I'd be scared – to death if I was to go stride out right now, I think.
Pat, I'm fucking still breathing hard from the 10 push-ups.
15. You did 15, so you owe me 10. I knew you were fucking lying 15, to me earlier.
No, Hey, I don't lie. I was doing them for a while, and I was like, holy fuck, I'm going to blow my pec out. And I didn't know if the camera was on me yet, so I stopped.
Okay. Gotcha. So you had to pause push-ups.
Yeah. I do 15.
All right, you have 5. All right, Ty, go ahead.
Coach JB, I don't know if you've seen all the stuff with Arch Manning. He went to Georgia, and the student section had his name painted on there. He's the only guy Lane Kiffin follows on Instagram. Can you remember a recruit that had this much hype going into college? And ultimately, how do you get this guy? How would you get this guy?
Now, is that Peyton's brother?
No.
Nephew.
Nephew. Yeah, I saw the whole Lane thing. Lane's a guy that loves that shit too. He's doing that on purpose too. So That's a great ploy by him, honestly. But, I love Lane, man. He's doing a great job. Ole Miss is fucking pretty good. I don't know. You got to be different as how you approach that kid. I mean, if you want to get him, Ole Miss, you got one tie there. You got the other tie at Tennessee, obviously, and then you got your pops there, Archie, the dad. So I don't know. It's just going to be a tough deal, man. You got to really win over whoever's making the shot. Who's calling the shot? Is it what brother is it, or what uncle is it, and then what who's really making the final decision? Is it him himself? Because I'll be honest with you, a lot of these coaches don't get it. Mostly the kid's not the one calling the shot, just so we're clear. Even though it's unfortunate, that's the reason we see so much transfer portal rate so high. But it's usually somebody in his camp that has no fucking clue about anything, and it's the one that's pushing the narrative or pushing him to that place. And that's the unfortunate part. And so I don't know who's going to be calling that, but I sure Lane knows and gets an idea of how it is. But I don't know. It's touchy, man. Like, you got a hell of a fucking family tree there. I mean, it's tough wherever you go. I don't think anyone's going to be mad at him.
Yeah, and the issue is, does he want to build his own legacy? Like, does Lane Kiffin have any chance there? Because Eli has already gone there. He looks sick in the Texas uniforms.
Oh, yeah.
And like Texas trying to get in the SEC. I wonder, and this is going to sound crazy, but I wonder, if Archie had any conversations with anybody who's like, you boys get down to the SEC, maybe you have a shot at old Arch. You boys get in the SEC. We ain't going no Big 12. It is different down here in the SEC. That the whole thing would be fascinating to see a 30 for 30 on that. But how do you feel about like having to win over 17-year-olds and 16-year-olds? I mean, that is why I can never be a college football coach. I don't care enough. Like, hey, you want to come here? No, okay, I don't go somewhere else. You have to really be invested. Like, that's a full-time job, right?
Oh yeah, that's why NFL coaches, when I hear all these media people in the Stephen A says Josh McDaniels should be the new head coach at UCLA. No, he fucking shouldn't. He's never coached in college. He was a GA for fucking 1 year. Like, they have no clue how to recruit. They have no clue what it really takes to go into a home, especially in that particular demographic, whether you're in USC and got to understand South Central LA kids, and you're from fucking Mississippi and you have no shot, or whether you're at UW in Seattle or whether you're at West Virginia, you got to understand the demographic, but you have to understand what makes kids tick nowadays. In the NFL, you have no fucking clue. You don't give a shit. Like you just said, Pat, nobody cares. You're not invested in that. That's not your blood life. College, you control your talent level. That is our blood life. If you're not a good recruiter, in my estimation, you're not going to win ever. So, 17, 16, 17, 18-year-olds nowadays, now you're recruiting 22 and 3-year-olds out of the portal, though. So it is totally different. Now you're recruiting grown men who really can give a shit less about, at that point, uniforms, facilities. They don't care about that. They were already at Alabama, Penn State, Georgia. Now they're coming to fucking UCF. Like, they don't care about that. So what are you selling them on there? So you got to be different and turn over rocks and figure out what makes them tick, who's making the call. 99% of my players, Pat, I swear to God, I never talked to them. I talked to the parent. I talked to the mom, the girlfriend, whoever it was making the decision. And then I was getting letters of intent signed before I even really had a conversation with the kid.
Hell yeah.
Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Coach, you just mentioned the transfer portal, and we all know that you're a massive fan of it. How happy are you for Charlie Brewer that he is now leaving Utah for a new, fresh start?
Man, I'm an acronym-based guy, and I wanted to say see you next Tuesday, but I didn't want to say it. I don't know, man. People, and the fucking, what makes me stutter right now is that the shocking part of it is, Pat, I was stuttering for a second. I was so pissed.
I saw you a little caught up there.
The shocking part is that he was at Baylor already. He balled out. He had a horrible O-line at Utah. He deserves to leave. I'm like, hold the fuck on. So now we're an individual sport. Now we don't give a fuck about our team after we chose to go there and know exactly what we were getting ourselves into. So wait up. That's the fucking thing you're going to fucking defend that shit? I'm like, so now he can leave because his teammates aren't very good. Like, wow. So now we're just so pussy that it blows my mind. Like, I'm just like, holy shit, man.
Coach, I think the thing about it is he might have saw no chance to play again there, and that's why he was getting out. But it does appear like this first sign of trouble almost, you bail. And that's kind of what everybody's been saying about the transfer portal is instead of having to battle or compete for anything, you're just automatically leaving. I think the transfer portal is good for some situations. In this one, though, a lot of people are upset. We'll see you in 6 minutes on hour 2 of SiriusXM. Okay, so we just went to a break there on SiriusXM an hour from now because we're not actually live yet. Whoa, there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Hey, that boy Zito. Good work back there, Zito.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
You guys are early today, huh?
Yeah, because I got to fly to Philly.
That's what I figured, yeah.
Yeah, I got to fly over to Philly. And, I haven't been to Philadelphia in years and years and years, but it should be electric over there. Those fucking humans in Philadelphia are insane.
Man, I played arena football there, bro. And we were there with Bon Jovi's team.
Hell yeah.
Soul.
The Soul. Ron Jaworski was president of at the time. Man, there was rats walking across the telephone lines like this.
That's
And
Philly.
the tails were like that thick. And I was like, and I remember Charles Barkley stories, and I was like, whatever. Man, that shit is a real thing. Them motherfuckers are dogs.
They are.
I'm just like, holy shit. They're dogs. You know the funny thing about the Brewer thing? You know his other brother transferred twice too. He was at Virginia Tech, I think, and was at somewhere else before. Like, it's just becoming the NCAA, Non-Caring Assholes of America, is the ones that started this because they allow it. Like, how do you allow a kid to leave week 3? So you're telling me that you really care about academics now, huh? So they can leave out of their semester of college and leave in the middle of the semester and get the fuck out. And you're telling me it's not about money, but you won't let them get a job. You let them sacrifice their whole life for 12 months a year. And then if they get hurt or they get a bullshit non-malicious targeting call, you're so quick to fucking eject them, kick them out. You suspend him a bowl game for flying his girlfriend to the fucking bowl game. Like, you're not about money, though. It's fucking blows my mind. But you're all about academics. But you can go ahead and transfer week 3 and then sit out a semester and then transfer back in the spring at Baylor again and then play there in the spring and then start your academics over. Like, holy fuck, man. I understand you graduated in this case. He graduated. It was a grad transfer, which I don't mind because Russell Wilson was the first real grad transfer that started this whole ball of wax.
We had one, Ryan Mundy from Woody High, went to Michigan, graduated, came to West Virginia for his graduate chance. He was awesome. He came in and was like a veteran leader, that type. I think there are good situations. You know, like
I think their grad transfer should be the only ones allowed, in my opinion. That's the only ones I think should be allowed, grad transfer. Yeah. I think the NCAA is setting a bad precedent by saying, you have any adversity at all, fucking leave. And then when you go to get a job in the fucking real world in the fucking 18 months, you get fired for fucking, you don't like your boss. Like I did my podcast the other day. I'm like, is there a workforce portal? Can I go quit my job and enter the portal at JCPenney and then leave and go to Macy's? Like, why isn't there a work portal? Like, we're setting ourselves up for failure, our younger kids, and that's what they don't get and they don't see. But well, who am I? I'm just an asshole that everybody says, oh, you're an asshole. I'm like, oh, well, fuck.
Well, I mean, there probably are some situations.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it.
And I mean, you're also an entrepreneur. We got,
right.
We got this new 120 proof slapped in. How does that happen? Hey, give me gasoline.
Yeah.
The coach's stock. That's what we're going to call it. We're trying to get it out, man. A little red label, spice it up, trying to. Let's go. We're going to try to do a holiday deal with it and see how it goes over. But you know what? Pat, I'm actually, I understand as, I'm not, I may be dumb. I'm not stupid. There's a difference. Make sure we clear.
Yeah.
I'm never going to get into fucking big time wine, Total Wine or Bevmo or whatever you guys have out there as far as liquor stores with the Slapdick brand. And I believe it's truly because of me, not because of the term Slapdick, because there is a whiskey out there in these big chains called Cold Cock. It's a fucking rooster holding his dick, and it's selling, and it's in these big chains. And I talked to CEOs at Bevmo and all these places. I'm like, wait up, so you don't like slap dick? One word, actually. I made it one word just to get it cleared, because if it was 2 words, I would have been fucked. But one word made it a lot better, right? cold cock is okay.
All right. We'll continue to push it for slapdick with you, all right? We appreciate you. We got to get out of here. You're the best. We'll see you next Friday.
Hey, man, be safe.
Hey, you owe us 5. Coach Jason Brown. It was awesome. All right, we got a minute and a half. I do have to run to go to the bathroom before hour 2 starts up here. Let's have a goddamn day, huh?
Yeah.
Here we go. All right, see you in a minute.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
while being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Feel Good Friday, September 24th, 2021, years after 0. Although the same game parlay died last night, we are very much alive. Hour 2 here should be a beautiful one. We will be joined by an American hero here soon, I believe, and can't wait to chit-chat with him about his life for sure. But what Coach JB says into a microphone, I can't help but enjoy. He said some shit that's completely wrong in my eyes. Carson Wentz, I don't think that is the case, or some other things. But that guy, there's only one of that human.
Oh, yeah. Whatever he says, just shoot it directly into my veins. I love it. I can't get enough.
Ty has been, behind the scenes, believe it or not, pretty big driver for old Coach JB.
Yeah.
Okay, I will be presented a video from Coach JB by Ty, and then it'll immediately make me go, let's have that guy on.
We need that guy.
And that has happened a couple different times, so shout out to him for joining us. Can't wait to see him next Friday. He does owe us 5 public push-ups. At Boston Connor got in the New England Patriots Tom Brady situation earlier. We will have to dive into that a little bit more, especially with the guy who's about to join us. At Tone Diggs, the COVID Cowboy, host of the Hammer Dahn podcast, the hottest gambling show on the internet. We have something going on right now. America is battling against the world. America is currently entrenched in battle in Wisconsin. There was USA chants rallying through Wisconsin this morning, starting as early as 5:30 a.m., I believe. What is going on in the Ryder Cup? Are we in the lead? Are we beating the hell out of everybody else right now?
4 matches this morning. 2 have finished. It is 1-1 currently with
Shit!
with the U.S. being 2 up in the other 2 matches. So it's
Okay, here we go.
looking like the morning session will be 3-1 U.S. right now.
And we need that, by the way, especially after what happened to Christian McCaffrey's hamstring last night, which put quite a damper on our same-game parlay. That would have cost FanDuel a couple $1 million.
Damn. Come on.
That would have cost them a couple $1 million. We could have won that as a team. We'll get back into the lab for next Thursday night, but we could have never guessed that was going to happen to Christian. But what we can guess about is, what is that golf course like that they're battling at? What is the atmosphere like? What is the weather like? What is the uniform that Team USA is wearing like? And joining us now is a man who just participated in his first Ryder Cup. He and Rob Riggle walked out of a golf course with an 8-3 win, although overall they lost to the European celebrities. Ladies and gentlemen, college football national champion.
What?
Super Bowl champion.
What?
And potential Ryder Cup champion. Ladies and gentlemen, AJ Hawk.
Got another one on.
What's happening, guys? Happy Friday.
How come you couldn't wear any of your Ryder Cup America gear today? Like say, hey, I'm still part of the team. You know, they're playing right now, they're battling right now. I want to be a part of them. You know what I mean?
I actually thought about that, but everything was all dirty. I had it shipped back, a lot of the stuff that I had there. They were going to send it back to me because I couldn't take it all home with me when I drove to Chicago at 3:30 this morning to come back here and be in Ohio and get to watch the Ryder Cup on TV and be with you before you go off to what, Philly?
Yeah, I'm off to Philly. We can't thank you enough for making time for us. AJ, thank you so much, man, for allowing us to be a part of your Friday here.
Wow.
And I know the drive to Chicago had to suck at 3:30 a.m. I mean, I am definitely mocking you right now, but there is no way I wake up at 3:30, stare down that drive. Now, you have kids, so it's a little bit different, but if it was for this show, if that added into it, I want to let you know I appreciate that immensely. How was your experience out there? We saw a couple of your shots. Saw a couple of them. I don't know how you guys won. The other team must have been fucking terrible, huh? Is that what happened out there?
I mean, I don't know what shots you saw.
This one, mostly. This one.
Okay, cool. Me and Riggle were striping the ball. What do they call it? Ham and eggs if you play with a partner. So, like, when I would have a bad shot, Rob would pick me up. Rob didn't really have many bad shots, but I at least, you know what, the main thing I wanted to do, hole number one, it's like a stadium around you. They announce you, play music. I piped that sucker, almost on the green almost. I striped that dude.
Let's go!
Yeah! Which is all that matters, really. First hole, they announced, okay, cool. Guess what? T-box on hole number 2, hole number 3. Topped each of those guys.
Yeah, I saw that.
Guess what? Guess what my partner did? My partner picked me up, striped it down the fairway, and we got off to a 1-0 lead pretty early, and we never really looked back.
Ham and eggs, dude. Hey, listen, whenever he needs you on that first one, because you're used to the crowd, isn't it? AJ Hawk thrives under the pressure of the stadium.
Yeah.
He came out, got introduced. Yeah, Go Pack Go was getting chanted. I think you came out to Eddie Money. Did you pick the music that you came out to?
Eddie Money, Take Me Home Tonight. Yeah, they asked me the night before, what's your walk-up song? I was like, I don't know. Like, my kids love that song. I love that song, and it sticks in your head usually.
I mean, take me home tonight. I don't want to let you go till you see the light. So AJ got a chance to get wrestling introduction here. He picked Eddie Money, Take Me Home Tonight. I love it. Okay, there's a lot of other options out there, but that one made you most comfortable. And I love the fact you gave and threw a golf ball at some lady's head right before you teed off. But your driving technique, you fall out of the batter's box as you're doing. Have you always done that? Is that exactly what you do in a simulator every single time? You hit it, what, like 386 or something when I was there with you in a simulator? Are you doing that same swing in real life every time?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't really think about it a whole lot, but people, now that I've been playing in front of other people, they're like, what are you doing? Like, do you slip and fall every time you hit a drive? I don't know. I guess so. And if it goes straight, I don't care at all what happens.
It's unbelievable. Rob Riggle's a player, huh?
He can play. His girlfriend was caddying for him. She's a professional golfer, so she helped me out. Like, she's awesome. She's really good.
Who was caddying for you?
This kid, he was awesome. His name is Brian Lee. He was on the junior Ryder Cup team. That's who caddied for most of the guys. But Rob's girlfriend is, she's a pro player, so she was caddying for him. But this dude, Brian Lee, he was 17. He caddied for me. He helped me out a lot. After I topped those 2 drives, he's like, hey, man, why don't you put the ball back a little bit? And I was thinking, like, oh, I thought I was topping it, so I got to put the ball in the front of my stance, so I pop it up. He's like, no, angles. So I started putting it back a little bit, and then I actually hit pretty good drives the rest of the day. I'm like, hey, Bri, thank you, buddy. When you win a major in 4 years, remember me.
Yeah, was he 6'4" too? 6'5"?
No, he was probably my height, a little taller than me, maybe.
There was a photo that you were the shortest person in it.
Yeah, wild.
Well, yeah, I played with Sasha Vujacic. How tall is he? 6'9"?
At least.
You tell us. I don't know.
Tony Kukoc, 7-footer. That dude's a stud golfer, too.
Hey, what happened to Harry Potter guy?
Jesus.
Is that you? Did you play against him or no? Were you with him?
He was in the group, right? I was the first group of 3. He was right behind me. We were out there at the 18th green. Like, they did a little – the European team won 17-16, I guess. And so after their little celebration, he was, like, laying on the ground at the edge of the green, and people thought he was messing around at first. I think it was like a bad seizure for a long time. Like, it was scary. It went like minutes longer than you thought when they're yelling for medics and everything. It was terrible.
So that was after a celebration. So there was a celebration of them dancing on you guys, and then just at the end of it, it all just kind of collapsed in a full. I mean, that's scary as hell.
I guess he was down the ground. Kelly Slater probably saved his life. Honestly, Kelly and his caddy were down there holding him down, like trying to take care of him and get medics to him. Like, it was brutal.
Kelly Slater is the surfer, right?
Yeah, really good golfer too.
Did he do like put CPR or anything that you recall?
I don't know if they had to pump his chest or not, but it was one of those things where you could see it going on, and then they start yelling for people. But where we were is like down in like it's really hard to get to. I think you definitely couldn't drive an ambulance down there. You get golf carts down there, And like 30 seconds, 45 seconds went on. I'm like, all right, this is still happening. And then you see them freak out even more, yelling for help. And I'm like, geez, we got to get something happening. And luckily, he was up and took him to the hospital, and I think he's doing all right now.
Oh, geez, what a scary situation. Happy to hear he's okay. I just learned of this guy yesterday. Did you see me learn who he was yesterday? And then all of a sudden, boom, this whole thing happens. I was scared for the guy. Happy to hear he's okay, though.
The soccer guy's a really good player I played against, though, right? I know Gump knows him.
Who?
Andre Pirlo.
Del Piero.
Who's that?
Piero?
Del Piero. Alessandro Del Piero.
Juventus legend, Guppy just said.
Italian?
Italian guy?
Did he know Buffon? Did you ask him about Buffon, the goalie?
I don't know what that is. But
They played together for years.
Should have asked him.
You should ask him about Buffon. How come you don't just ask? He probably would have been telling stories. He would have been.
Yeah.
They stunk at golf, huh? They were terrible.
No, they were pretty good, man. Like me and Rob, we were a good partnership. Like how we played. Rob drained a huge putt early that got us going, and I was pumping Rob up. I mean, we were a good partnership. Hopefully, we get paired up in Rome here in a couple of years when they take it back there.
Did Rob do a lot of, like a lot of that stuff? Is that how he is?
People yelled at him. Yeah, people would yell at him the whole time, and obviously, and Pistol, my dad was there. Pistol's there now. I gave him my pass. He's walking inside the ropes, following these guys. Because mine says like you can go inside the ropes, and like Wriggle's like, yeah, man, come with me, Pistol, we'll do it. And so he's gonna stay. And I text him like, how's it going? He's like, oh, good. I'm inside the ropes. I'm actually walking right behind Steph Curry, following the last group.
Jesus,
Pistol. There now.
Hey, congrats, Pistol.
Yeah, Pistol.
You deserve it, dude. He's gonna be on all the televisions across Europe and America today. It's
Pistol.
Legend.
Did you think about sticking around to watch this thing? I guess it's pretty good. There's a pretty good. It's tied right now. I guess we got 2 in the lead. It's potentially.
Yeah, of course. I thought about it, but you know, it just there's a lot happening on weekends around here, so I had to get back.
Oh, so your wife said, "Oh, that's fun. You want to go play your little golf game?" Yeah.
Oh no, she's cool. I can't. I got multiple kids counting on me for team. I got a flag game. I got tackle practice, tackle game, soccer stuff. You know, stuff happens.
And you had to represent America. I mean, AJ
Hawk. There's a lot.
AJ Hawk. 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 Let's go, AJ.
You done?
AJ Hawk! AJ Hawk! AJ Hawk! AJ Hawk! Yeah, we're done.
Hey,
dude.
Sabby. Do you know Sabby Piscatelli? He loves you. I was hanging out with him the whole time, pretty much.
He used to play for the Bucks, right? Then he got into wrestling a little bit, and
he's so big and jacked too. He walked in with Mandy, his girlfriend, who played well too. She never plays golf. She was paired with Kelly. I guess she played very well, but yeah, he walked in. I was like, man, I recognize this dude. And he's jacked. I mean, the most Italian. I mean, Sabby Piscatelli. It's one of the first things I said. Are you the most Italian person ever to live? And yeah, he's a really good dude. I like him a lot.
He's absolutely stacked too. I mean, freak athlete, obviously ripped, attractive. I don't know why it didn't work with wrestling. Did he not want to do it? Did he stop doing it? I don't really.
He acted like he said like, yeah, I think I'm kind of transitioning out of wrestling now. Is what he said. Who knows if he wants that out there in public? I don't know where he's at with the contract. How that works. Sorry, Sabby, if that was bad. Yeah.
It seemed like he had everything you could potentially want in there. He was always very nice to us, though.
Very good dude.
He was always very nice. And was always like, it feels like you're way too attractive to be as nice as you are, pal. Yeah. You know what I mean? It didn't make much sense, especially because he was in the NFL as well. I mean, what a moment you just had. Let's talk about a couple things. Did you get to watch the game last night, or were you too dialed into what Team USA had for dinner?
I did not get to see much of it. I've seen clips. I know Christian McCaffrey is hurt. I know it's somewhat of a cagey match, as Gump will say.
Yeah, it was a snoozer. I mean, it was a snoozer last night. Christian McCaffrey.
How did Sam Darnold do, though? Is he still rolling?
So he looked good. I mean, he made some throws. There was a couple misses, I think. There was one he was rolling to his left that was like the Zach Wilson combine throw that a lot of people immediately upon Zach Wilson doing, everybody else showcased how everybody else did the throw. And Sam Darnold was one of the people that actually, they say, look at this throw from Sam Darnold. He rolling to his left with the Jets, backpedaling sidearm, and it was like a laser. I think we all remember that. He had one of those last night. Did not make the ball there. I was like, oh no, Sam Darnold lost a little bit. But instead, he's playing great with them. I mean, Matt Rule talked about him after the game. He was like, he's playing great within the system, and he's making incredible throws and everything like that. They have it going on down there. Christian McCaffrey and J.C. Horn, though, those are two massive injuries to happen on a Thursday night football game. But I liked watching the Panthers, and they obviously covered, but the over didn't hit, and Christian didn't score a touchdown first half for a second.
Do we have any idea, like, Is this going to be a super long-term hamstring, or is it like a 2 to 3 week? Do we have any idea?
I don't know. And did they pull him out of the game because they felt how the game was probably going to go with or without him? Like I don't think we know anything about it because the hammy, you can't just fix that, right? The hammy.
No, like you can't just all of a sudden, hey, gut this out. Like, no, it's going to continue to get worse, and you can't run.
Yeah, and I don't think you can fix it
Don't
either.
stretch it either. And people love to pull their hammy, and then they lay down and have a trainer stretch. I'm like, that's cool. When you just tore that muscle, make sure you stretch it more, you idiot.
Yeah, you just Hulk Hogan the top of your shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You literally had that thing snipped a little bit, and then you just ripped it even more. I was very lucky. I never experienced a pulled hammy, even though I'm not flexible at all. But I've seen others battle through it. It's like it's impossible to fix. I guess you can stim and you can do all that shit, but you just got to hope that they come back.
Time.
Yeah.
It's just time. Like, you need time and need not to push it. And then the worst thing that could happen is if they try to okay, I think I'm good to go. He comes back and you pop it again, and maybe you pop it worse, and then it's a long-term injury.
Joining us now is a man who I've seen on the internet do everything to his body to make it, maybe the most. I mean, he beat the fuck out of anybody right now.
Oh, yeah.
Still to this day, I believe. He's an incredible actor in the series Heels, which we all watch, obviously, every single episode. He's a fucking incredible actor, Super Bowl champ. The guy's all pro. He's got a Football Life coming out on NFL Network tonight. Joining us, Debo James Harris.
What's up?
How are you,
Thanks
man?
for having me on.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, man.
Hey, I watched you act a little bit. You're really good. You said the last time that it was a bunch of time. You had to sit there in the trailer. Then you showed up and they expected you. You did some natural, very natural, Debo, especially without. Are you the next Rock, dude? Are you the next fucking Rock, Debo?
Listen, I ain't gonna say all that, but I'm saying all that.
It was awesome to watch you do your thing in there, and thank you for joining us again. Tonight's a Football Life. How was that shooting it? Was it emotional? Was it any of that? What should we expect out of this thing?
It was good. They should expect to see a side of James Harrison or knowledge or understanding of me that they didn't have before. That was outside of football or what they perceived to be. From just seeing me on TV and what the media sportscasters and all that put out there. So it was actually a long process. It was over the course of probably 4 months or so in 3-4 different locations. So
James, do you think people that you're really close with, that maybe you've even grown up with, or you're close personal friends, are they going to be surprised in what they see in this? Will they see a different side of you?
No.
No.
They know me. They already know me. People that know me and I know them. They already know the real me. The person that you see or that I put out there in front of the cameras, and when I'm playing, before I'm going into a game, during the game, is not the same person. I can't go out there with a hamburger, cheeseburger smile on my face and get my job done.
Yeah, you got to be Debo, dude. Hey, we got to be Debo out here. We got to move weights. We got to go try to kill people. And back in the day, you were in the middle of that game, the game evolving and the game changing.
Right, literally the game evolving in the middle of a game and them changing the rules and trying to make an emphasis on something that they decided, well, since it was 4 or 5, I think, plays like that happened, bang, 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 this is what we're going to do.
Do you think you became the face of that? And is that what you're referring to whenever you say what people have heard about you? Or are you talking about a misconception about you being a dirty player? Or what are you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, come on. The year before that, I was Defensive Player of the Year. And then not even a year later, now I'm supposed to be the dirtiest player alive. Get out of here. You'll hear from, people that I played against that are he's not a dirty player. He's playing the game the way the game was supposed to be played. They decided in the middle of a game to change the rules.
Well, that's the thing. I guess it's a compliment to you. Hey, I just hit people so damn hard they had to change the rules before I killed everybody. That's what it looked like to me. Hey, what about the Steelers now? What do you think of the Steelers this year? How are they going to be? We don't really know what they are.
That's the problem. I think we need to come up with an identity on offense, figure out what it is that we're going to do and stick with that and try and replicate that week in and week out. I think right now they're searching and trying to figure out what works week in and week out. The defense is what's going to be their stronghold. They're going to have to stick to the defense. It's going to be like the Steelers of old, where you have to have low-scoring games, and at some point in time during that game, the defense is either going to have to give scoring position, get a score, or do something that's going to affect that game, because they have to keep it low scoring to have the abilities to be able to, extend the season to even have a chance to going into the playoffs.
Todd Haley.
But the biggest thing is we're going to have to figure out they're going to have to figure out something on the offensive line.
Yeah, it's a lot of young guys. Todd Haley told us yesterday that Tomlin would actually come in and they would chat every single week. And it's like, hey, this is probably how many points you're going to need. Just listening to that conversation with that defense is going to have to win those games until Ben gets comfortable with that offensive line. And the defense in Pittsburgh has always been great. Is that something like when you show up there or when you leave there, you understand and appreciate, or is it just the people that are in the building that are making that happen?
I believe it's a combination of both, because, you look all the way back to, in the 70s when they had, the steel curtain and so on and so forth. It's built on, defense. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers are. It's a defensive dynasty. And now they're at that point where, like when Ben first came in, it was run, play action. And, that's what worked for us, along with a defense, that was top rated. And you kept the game low scoring, and the offense made sure they gave the defense enough time to rest because they ran the ball. You get time to get the defense charged up. They go back out there, they do their job. They try and make an impact or impact play and give an opportunity to score or score.
Go ahead, Tone.
James, when you're watching the Football Life on you and they're interviewing your coaches and players and teammates and stuff like that, was there anything that any of those people said during this tonight when we're watching that made you think or made you get emotional or anything like that?
No.
Have you ever?
Yeah, I've gotten emotional before. I mean, it's things that aren't in this documentary or this life that things with me and Coach LeBeau. Even one time I was in Cincinnati and they asked me about it. I got emotional about that. I'm an emotional person. I have a side. I have a sensitive side to me. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does. You can't be hard 24/7. So the side of me that side of that person that people see the most is probably my kids. They see that side the most. That's something that I want them to understand. Especially as as men growing up, there's nothing wrong with crying. There's nothing wrong with showing your emotions. I don't want you to be somebody that just wears them on your sleeve and now you're just an emotional mess. But it's nothing wrong with showing that side of you and letting out a tear, now and then, if that's what, needs to be going. I don't want you to cry because, you're in pain. That's not going to fix it. I mean, you can cry because you're emotionally hurt. There's nothing wrong with that.
Man. And I think my favorite social media interaction with you is, and it wasn't an interaction, but watching you on social, your kid won a participation trophy, and that whole scene between you and your kid basically taking that, you didn't win this, okay? This is not that whole thing was just amazing. It's nice to hear about the soft side. I cannot wait to watch that in the football life. Did they dive into your business ventures at all? Because I've always heard these rumors.
When it comes down to everything, they really couldn't get into everything. And to be honest with you, they had said, we're not going to really be able to get into details of everything because it would end up being something that would need to be 2.5, 3 hours long, they said. So depending what you heard of my business venture, what you hear.
It was something with gas, like natural gas or something. Is that real or not?
No. I don't do nothing with natural gas. I have a nice number of apartment units, I'll say.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're a real estate landlord. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I forgot there was a rumor going around Plum where we're from that you got into some natural gas. It must have been you just bought land or built the apartment. I don't know. Everybody.
Well, I had some land, and they were trying to do the shell, the drilling and all that, and I wouldn't allow them to do it. So we were going back and forth, and finally I just was like, you know what, I'm just going to get rid of it and let somebody else deal with it.
Smart. And by the way, that's probably 2.5, 3 hours worth of its own documentary right there. I assume that whole conversation. Is a good one. Go ahead, Ty.
James, given the success of Heels, and last time you came on with us, you talked about how you actually did kind of enjoy it. Are you actively looking at doing more acting? Is there anything on the horizon that you're going to be involved in?
It's nothing that I have right now that I'm going to be involved in. Of course, my team is always actively looking for something. Right now, we're just, sitting back and waiting for, you get opportunities and you get things to read for, and you read for them and send it out and they come back. They say it's either a yay or nay, or you get an in-person read and you go from there. But
Are you all in? Are you all in on acting right now?
Oh, I'm all in. Yeah, no question.
You doing like acting, like?
I do acting lessons, classes. I have a coach. Yeah.
Let's go, Debo!
Yeah!
Hey, what's that? Fast and Furious? What are we on? Fast and Furious
10.
Yeah,
10? Oh
Get 'em
my!
in there.
That has to be an easy thing. Get his ass in Fast and Furious.
Listen, I'm trying to get my foot into any door I can get it into.
Smart. Hey, James, what Pat forgets is that you told us last time that you've worked with an acting coach and you were all in back then before Heels aired. So I do remember you saying that. We knew you were all in. But have you ever looked like, is there any roles that you feel like you wouldn't take? Like, oh, this isn't me, or I can't do this?
I didn't forget, Tebow.
It's probably anything. I don't know. It would have to be specific details of exactly what their role is and what it entails. It's not really many things that I could say that I would turn down, unless
do you have a dream gig?
That I
do you have
can't,
like a dream gig you'd want? Like this is my ultimate goal to play this role or this character.
Anything that's action hero. My ultimate goal would be to be like either a super villain or a hero. I think I would be better as a villain.
Hell yeah.
I can really get into that and just bring out that nasty craziness of a character and just manifest it on the screen to the point to where they'd be like, yeah, it's nobody else that could have did that.
Yeah, you're a heel. You're a natural heel, which is why, the heels thing works out perfectly. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, James, in the trailer for the Football Life tonight, they actually talked about the pick six in the Super Bowl and that you were supposed to blitz, but you said, fuck it, and you dropped back and picked it off. How often during your career would there either be, a blitz call or on the opposite end, like you're supposed to be in coverage and you would do the exact opposite and make a massive play?
So Dick LeBeau gave us the opportunity to be able to adjust things if we saw something in the game that we felt like we would have an opportunity to impact the game. Same thing where you see Troy jumping over the line and making a tackle for a loss. And on that play, he got deep third. You know what I'm saying? So it's things like that where, but at the same time, he would let Ryan Clark know, hey, this is what I'm about to do. So instead of Ryan, having to cover 1/3, he got to cover 2/3 now. So he played it through. But most of the time, Troy was right. So
you got to be on the same page there, right? I mean, that is a concept. Everybody has to be on the same exact page. We were talking about this the other day with like the Ravens defense where everybody was standing and everybody wonders like, how come that isn't happening on a regular basis? It's because it's hard to get a group to buy in, right? And understand everything, Debo?
Well, it's not hard. I guess now it may be harder to get people to buy in, but back then it wasn't, because your success is built on the team's success. And the better we play, the more they're going to look at the individuals on that defense, and the more opportunities you're going to get to either make money there or go somewhere else and make money. If I do everything right, if 10 people do everything right on that play and one guy misses something, they could be striking the band up on us. And now we look like the worst defense in the world. But it was just one person that missed one assignment. So everyone has to be on the same page. And the better you know what you're doing, now you can start and understand what the person to the left of you is doing, what the person to the right of you is doing. Now you can make the defense better. So if I'm dropping into the curl flat and I have no one in my curl flat, but I know my corner is playing deep third, then I need to slough back, get as deep as I can, 15, 17, 20 yards deep, so that they can't throw that deep cross. Now, everything else, we just bite up on. But if I know what he's doing, I already know what I'm doing. I know what he's doing. I know what the linebacker on the inside of me doing. I can better help the defense, and we can better help each other.
I used to hear the quote all the time, if one person's wrong, we're all wrong. If we're all wrong, we're all right, basically. It's like everybody has to be on the same page at all times. Right. It's beautiful to watch. Go ahead, Nick.
James, you talked earlier, you spent a little time in Cincinnati. The Steelers are playing the Bengals this weekend. We talk a lot on this show about the Bengals and their coaching staff and how they had the bare bones scouting department and they don't have the indoor practice facility. Just want to see what it was like for you and if you noticed any of that stuff while you were there, what it felt like when you were there.
Well, you very rarely needed to go inside the practice, to be honest with you, because they got turf field. So most of your practices can be done outside unless it's lightning or something. Then they would go to the indoor facility at, I believe, the University of Cincinnati. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing or difference from there to Pittsburgh is just the actual at that time, the coaching and the ownership of what's being like, we were being fed Airmark, like the stadium food was catering the food. Like, it's crazy. Like, you're putting 87 octane into a Formula One race car.
What was it like? Weren't you playing a 4-3 and you were playing like Sam Backer and you weren't truly like the outside edge rusher?
Yeah, it was built different. So, just to actually fit in there was a little different. And then some of the times I was just playing like one of the down linemen, here and there. So, it wasn't a good fit.
Do they cover any of that? Like any of the to Cincy, back to Pittsburgh, the potential, any of the behind the scenes stuff in
Not in detail. Yeah, nothing. Like it's very few of that. Like that's in detail. They had literally said like we would need at least 2, probably 3 hours of football life to cover your whole story.
Do they talk about the Rydell right there, Hawk?
Put that Rydell on their ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, future blockbuster movie star.
Hell yeah.
It's only a matter of time. Super Bowl champ multiple time. A Football Life comes out tonight on NFL Network. Ladies and gentlemen, James Harrison. Thank you,
Hey, listen, one more thing before I go now.
What's that?
Hey, one of the greatest Steelers of all time. It's his birthday today. Mr. Mean Joe Green. He's turning 75. Happy birthday. Y'all make sure y'all get that out there.
Happy birthday, Mean Joe Green. Thank you for your service, Mean Joe Green.
Thank you, Mean.
That was very nice of Debo there.
Cam's wearing 75 at practice today, so.
For Mean Joe?
Yeah.
Hey, Mean Joe didn't fuck around, by the way. He didn't play any. He was mean, but his teammates loved him. So he could be mean on the field and then have a soft side off it. I do not know Debo had a soft side. I'm gonna be honest. No. That was surprising to me. Really.
It's impressive. I think it makes him even scarier. Like the fact that he's like, yeah, well, of course I'm in touch with my feelings. Yes, I am.
And then he can just flip his switch. And I think acting's big with like the in touch with your feelings.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And I obviously didn't forget that he said that to us. I take every word that comes out of Debo's mouth, put it in his brain, I'll lock it forever. Because I know that if I ever run into Debo in public, I would like him to know that I do appreciate him and I'm not on the wrong side of him. Okay, AJ?
I feel the same way. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you guys were playing at the same time, right?
Yeah, we played against him. Played against him in the Super Bowl.
Did you? Similar style of play, right?
I played defense. He played defense, so we didn't face off against each other. No, he would headbutt me to another planet if we did.
No, I don't think that's accurate because you and Kuhn were sharpening your foreheads every day in practice over there in your jaws. But similar playing style, I think, between you two, right? Or am I wrong in that?
No, I would never pretend to be able to have done what he, like the amount of force he was able to bring when he hit people was scary. Like he's a special talent. A guy that all I know is from being around offensive guys, like, all right, stay away from him, man. Run away from this dude. Don't let him get you.
Hey, keep your head away from James Harrison. Yeah, do not try to. What is it? Is it just the ability to be that explosive? Is it the weight, the strength? Is it the head?
Everything. It's his mental. Obviously, it's a huge part of what he is mentally and how he's just. You're gonna have to kill him, I think, to beat him. But he's also how he's built. He's a little shorter than a lot of outside rushers, so he can get underneath, like right in their chin, like. For big 6'6" tackle, think how tough it would be to block that.
Well, that's like Aaron Donald's been feasting off of the same type of thing and took it to another level. We can't thank James Harrison enough. We're back in 4 minutes with some phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line 1-833-4-McAfee. We can't thank you enough. We'll see you in 4.
No. I'm a better person than you are.
No.
Yeah.
I fed the birds this morning, so I'm a better person than you are.
Yeah, but you don't care about, the ozone as much as I do. So do you even like to breathe? That means you don't even like the birds. You don't want the birds to be able to breathe or fly because you want the ozone to be ruined because you're a fucking asshole.
Is that right? Then how come I rollerblade to the supermarket every Saturday and Sunday?
Oh, did that make you feel good? Rollerblading, flattening the earth a little bit closer to the center so it can get hotter so then the heat comes from the ozone because you're pressing down the earth with your little rollerblades?
Well, yeah, but
I'm a better person than you are.
No, because on Wednesdays I'm planting trees and I'm trying to bring the earth back to what it was.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you're cutting up other trees' roots, though. What a fucking asshole. You prick. Yeah. Why can't you just let earth be the way it's going to be, you got to take your shovel and dig into it. Wow, I'm
No,
a better person than you are.
I know.
dude.
I make my own manure. I make my own soil. I'm not chopping up any other.
Oh,
roots.
so you don't like cows? You don't like cows pooping?
I hate farmers.
Unbelievable. You hate farmers? Oh, you don't like the head of cows? Oh, you don't like burgers?
Then how come I'm in the Farmers Association of America and I'm going to help?
Oh, you're a lifetime member of the FFA. Hey,
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I make. I'm a better person than you are.
No, you're not. I'm a better person than you are.
That's politics, baby. That's what we just did right there. Let's get to the phones. Once again, I think we batted 1,000.
Boom.
In politics with what we just did right there.
How about that?
I do believe after that argument, though, people would say I was a better person than fucking you are, dude.
No, because everyone I just read on Twitter was like, oh my God, this guy rollerblades. I need to start doing that too.
No, that's because you mute all the other people that are actually on my side. They're telling you you're not the right person.
No, I refuse to mute anybody because I love everybody.
Oh, you're like freedom of speech. How come then you're not going on
I do love freedom of speech. That's why I'm not muting anybody. What are you talking about? No, I'm better than you are.
Everybody's saying it.
No.
Yeah, everybody's saying I'm a better person than you are.
I heard it.
We just did, by the way, still batting 1,000 on politics. I feel so good about it. We even got into the reaction to the punditry.
Yes.
We're batting a fucking 1,000 out there.
Every side.
The people say we're not well-rounded. We don't have depth. Did you hear what we just fucking did?
Come on.
Wow. Let's go to the phones, man. What's the most beer you did in one night you think of one of those shows?
Well, I never forget when we went to Japan one time. Dudley, Stacy Keebler. I mean, there were so many people out there. I think we went through 103 or 108. Now, between just for myself, I'd always make sure to have about a 12 or 18 pack there. And, here's the thing when some people say, oh, shit, man, you got too much of that beer on. You don't even know how to drink beer. It's like, dude, fuck you. You don't know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to entertain 20,000 people in an arena. If I just go out there and sip it real properly, how fucking exciting is that? So when you're out there on an empty belly and you're shotgunning beers and all that shit's going in, the half that was going in was for me. The half that was going on was for them.
Nice.
But I'm telling you, Pat, when you shotgun a bunch of beers like that and you're drinking about half of each beer, you got a pretty damn good buzz when you come out. And that's a sacrifice I was willing to make every single night.
I would assume you were pretty fucked up, yeah. When did you start self-cheersing? When did you start self-cheersing? Was that something you did in college? You're like, hey, Steve, good for me, man. Like, when did that start?
No, you know what? I got to give credit to Sandman for starting that, but he was bashing him off his head, and I don't remember, and it wasn't because Sandman was doing it, so I don't want to say I copied him, but he was the first. So, and then my style was, because people always get us confused. They'll say, yeah, man, you used to bang them on your head. No, motherfucker, I was the guy that clacked them together. It was just something we came up with. I don't even know how the beers got introduced to the ring, but it became a thing, and we ran with it.
This is the Pat McAfee Show on Sirius XM Mad Dog Sports Radio. We thank you for taking the time to seek out this small regional show that streams internationally. Here's Pat and the boys.
When you're betting on too many things that aren't hitting, you're going to need some high-quality support to keep up with all of your picks, fantasy teams, and the general insanity of a weekend full of football.
So true.
And one of the best things you can do to stay at the top of your game is drink plenty of water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But don't settle for just any boring-ass water. No, kick that shit up a notch with new CBD drink mix from CBDMD. Ooh. CBD drink mix combines CBD and vitamin C into one convenient and easy-to-use product. Just pour, shake, and go.
Let's go.
Okay. Drink mix is available in 4 amazing flavors: peach, lemonade, kiwi strawberry, and fruit punch, which means enjoying the benefits of CBD have never been tastier. And to make it even easier to try drink mix and everything else that CBDMD has to offer, they're giving you 25% off your next order when you use promo code McAfee at checkout. Once again, that's CBDMD.com, promo code MCAFEE for 25% off your purchase of superior CBD products.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Welcome back to the show. We have some breaking news out of Indianapolis. AJ Hawk, who just got out of the Ryder Cup. Zach Kiefer of The Athletic is reporting a bit of surprise. Colts QB Carson Wentz is practicing today, which means starting Sunday in Tennessee could be in play.
Wow.
Two sprains. Was going to get back out on the field after, in his mind, only spraining one ankle. but he actually sprained both ankles. He was trying to get back out there to go and try to win the game against the Rams. Carson Wentz is a guy who has no idea that his body can break at any moment. Carson Wentz is a guy that has no clue how to say, you know what, this play is clearly not working. I'm just going to fucking throw this thing away. Carson Wentz is a guy that if they roll back out there with 2 sprains, he'll try to bust both of his knees as well. This guy will leave everything out on the field, AJ Hawk.
He will, but does I heard JB does not have the same opinion of Carson that you do.
There's one more tweet. No, JB said he was overrated. Zach Kiefer says even more of a surprise. Wentz is moving around fine in individual drills and throwing completely normal. This bodes very well for Sunday. He might be wearing cowboy boots out there with how thick the tape is around that guy's ankles. He's used to it, though. He was born with 2 sprains. Carson Wentz is not scared of anything. And although Coach JB might not like him because the teams he's been on haven't had success in recent history or recent memory, when that guy just sits in there and plays quarterback, good things seem to happen. When that guy extends plays and then gets rid of the ball in a timely fashion, good things seem to happen. It's whenever he extends plays and then it gets to the top of a staircase and then he just boom, all the way down every single one is when it becomes a problem. Hopefully he'll remain at the top of the ledge there and not just go off the staircase with 2 sprained ankles and he's starting this weekend. Carson Wentz is my quarterback. I'm damn proud of it, but that guy better not try to kill himself this weekend because we got no other option. Brett Hundley was going to start if old Carson Wentz wasn't going to start, and I'm happy he's back, baby.
Wait, what? Speaking of quarterback injuries that are tragic, where is Tua? Is he practicing? Is he able to do anything? Where are we?
All right. Remember, we changed. I know you had a Ryder Cup, but a lot has happened since the beginning of the Ryder Cup. He was initially reported as having no injuries, nothing serious, and then it changed. He does have hairline fractures, I believe, in his ribs. So I think he has a couple fractured ribs. Who knows where they are in the rib cage? How close are they to the lungs and to the heart? And, you know, that whole thing. If it was the Marilyn Manson one down here, I'm not sure it's that big of a deal, but I think it was these ones up here, AJ.
Are the Marilyn Manson ones not as serious if you crack those?
Well, I think it's down here near the bottom. Yeah, they're down here near the bottom. That's why you can just get rid of them if you're trying to touch your toes better than everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
So where is he practicing? Is he able to play through this or what?
I do not believe he's playing this week.
No.
I think they have already ruled him out. I'm not sure if they've officially ruled him out, but it sounds like by all reports he will be out this weekend. We have a Christian McCaffrey update as well hitting the internet. Ian Rappaport at Rap Sheet, host of the Wrap Up Sheet and Friends.
Yep.
2 Ps, 3 Ps. Panther star running back Christian McCaffrey is expected to miss a few weeks, sources say, as the team continues to run tests on his hamstring injury suffered last night. IR is not the plan as of now. Rookie Chuba Hubbard is the next man up. So if he's expected to miss a few weeks, so there's one thing, then there's a couple things, then there's a few things, right? Few is 3?
Yes.
What is the IR?
3. So
if they're not putting him on IR and he can come back, everybody can come back after 3 weeks if you're on IR. Are they expecting him back in 2 weeks? And with the hamstring, AJ, we talked about that you can't rush. This isn't something you can just rush. You just got to wait for the muscles, things to kind of come back together in there. It's going to be nagging, but that is quite a blow to the Carolina Panthers, obviously. We saw it last night. It killed our same-game parlay, and now Chuba Hubbard has to kind of step up in that entire place.
Yeah, which Hubbard actually, I mean, that dude's good. I liked watching him play in college. But, yeah, I think it's a good sign for Panthers fans that they didn't put him on IR because that means, yeah, he could be out 3 weeks, but there's definitely a chance he can come back sooner, so we don't need to put him on IR and do that. So I think that's a good thing, hopefully. Yeah, all that means, I guess, is that if he got scanned, whatever, it's not a terrible tear. It's probably something that I'm sure, like, these guys that are so explosive, like they've pulled a lot of muscles. They pull hammies, calves, groins, like they're so explosive. I'm sure he knew too, like, oh, either this one's not as bad, or this one is worse than I've had before.
He had a good little, I don't want to say a pep to his step, but he went into the medical. Whenever he went off the field, I literally saw him limp, okay, and I saw him asked to come out. They were in the red zone. The lead into the game was he is never wanting to come off the field. So as soon as you see him in the red zone after a play, and then you see him hobble a little bit, then he waved off. I actually tweeted, like, is Christian McCaffrey limping right now? And then everybody was like, don't put that in the universe. I'm like, I'm just telling you what I think I just saw. And then Chuba stayed in, and they didn't get something, a third down maybe or whatever. And people on the internet started saying, like, well, why wouldn't they have Christian McCaffrey out there? And then Joe Buck was like, EA is telling us that Christian McCaffrey is in a medical tent. And then they had him out of the medical tent, and then he went back into the medical tent. And I thought when I saw him walk back into the medical tent, there was a little bit of a bounce, I thought there was a little bit of a bounce, and I didn't know how that was going to happen, if it was a hamstring injury, which was kind of being alluded to there. But then obviously he walked off on his own power, so hopefully he'll be better sooner than later. They're undefeated, dude.
Yeah. I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I really am. I know D-Butt, didn't he apologize on here?
Oh, yeah.
To Sam?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people probably could or should, and they won't. So that was very,
They're waiting to see the whole year. They'll go, 3 games. People that are still against them will go, okay. Which is true. I mean, you do need to see the whole year, but they're 3-0 for what, the first time ever?
Yeah, and you can also, at 3-0, you can still go 3-14.
True.
Who was it last year? Who started last year 11-0?
That was Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yeah.
Pittsburgh
Shit.
Steelers, That's right. And then Foxy became a fan, you remember?
Yeah.
Is that what put him on the downslide? That's right.
Killed him 100%.
Yeah, he killed him.
Finished 1-5.
Can Foxy go to Pittsburgh? Can he spend time there?
Foxy did return. There was a couple weeks there where it was getting a little bit dicey in Pittsburgh. There was a lot of tweets coming from Yinzers about Foxy saying, keep your rat bastard fucking ass out of our city. Like there was some real venom coming because the Steelers obviously started,
When they lost to the Bengals on Monday Night Football, my Twitter has never been so explosive.
Yeah,
in
Foxy's
my life.
bitch made. He's not allowed back.
Get out.
Is that just a standard rule of ethics now? You get born in McGee Women's Hospital down there in Oakland or any other hospital, and as soon as you pop out, it goes, hey, a couple rules here. If you are a punk-ass bitch, you are not allowed in Pittsburgh. Therefore, there is a man named Evan Fox who is not allowed in Pittsburgh. Is that kind of the standard operation over there? That's a shame because there was a couple people saying after you denounced your Steeler fanhood, they said, okay, good, you can come back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, a couple people said that. Also, I thought that city was tough, and you're going to let a guy like me destroy your football team?
A punk-ass bitch.
That's a tough look.
It wasn't you. It wasn't you.
Great
It was
point,
the curse
Foxy.
of
Great
you
point.
and the football gods.
Curses aren't real, Foxy. Tell them.
Throw it right back
Thank
at them.
you.
Make it their fault.
It is their fault.
Well, Foxy did that for 4 months. Yeah, I mean, it was a real
Foxy, if Pat didn't need you, every one of your limbs would be broken. You'd been floating down the river by now.
He wouldn't be floating. We would have tied a
Is he
block.
dead?
He would be.
Let's go to the
Is he
5
dead, or you break all of his limbs and say, hey, good luck, bud?
I think the Italians are a big good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, because I think that helps him sleep at night. Like, we didn't kill him. We gave him an opportunity. He could have just swam his way to the other side.
Told him it was tough to swim with 4 broken limbs, but
He continued to do the
Yeah.
shit. He's with the shits. We were not with the shits. Let's go to Nick in Wisconsin on the 5-Hour Energy phone line. Nick, what's going on, pal?
Oh, nothing much, Pat. How y'all doing on this Feel Good Friday?
Well, a lot better than the same game parlay last night, which means a lot better than Christian McCaffrey's hamstring. What? All right, what do you want to talk about, Nick?
Well, I used the SeatGeek promo code and went to Monday Night Football. Saw the Packers play tie. It was really fun. I'm from Alabama, so that was really cool to see Lambeau.
Oh, no,
But,
did you cheer for the defense? The defense got introduced, right? Not the offense. Did you cheer in the intros?
Yeah, I cheered on the intros, but I was really hoping to see Rodgers on the intro. But
Yeah, why was
it
that?
decent.
AJ, why was that? Whenever he said that the other day, I was very confused.
Yeah.
They rotate every home game. One game's offense, and
rotate.
that's one's defense. For
It's
who
the
gets
first
it.
home game, right? In 18 months?
I don't know who makes the decision on who gets.
We know.
Oh, it's Gunter.
Yep.
Hey, don't let that guy come parade his fucking ass out here.
No chance. Probably.
Yeah, get the defense. Yeah, Nick knows. Nick, what do you want to talk about, dude?
I wanted to know how long you're going to let Najee Harris think that you played linebacker in the NFL.
What do you mean?
You don't remember when he was a guest on the show? He thought you told him you played linebacker.
Oh, yeah, forever. I mean, we'll let him think that forever. And I'll just continue to post videos of me tackling people, and I'll add them in it.
Yeah.
Just continue that thing going. Najee will come back on that's a 2 linebackers show. Yeah, I'll go on that 2 linebackers show. You know what I mean, AJ?
Yeah, why not do it? I mean, I think you should go as long as you can.
Did you see those? It would be so much cooler if I was able to say I was a linebacker. Like that has to feel so cool for you. That is heralded as tough guy position. Okay, linebacker, he's a tough guy.
I don't know about that.
They do.
Yeah.
It is.
Come on.
Every human you've talked to is
A
probably
lot of humans don't know. Like this week, a lot of humans don't know, especially talking to some people, Europeans. Oh, so what position is linebacker? What do you do there? Like a lot of people don't understand linebacker.
Yeah, but fuck those people. We don't care about those people.
No, they're nice, very nice people. But yeah.
No, yeah, they're very nice people, but we don't care. You're never going to talk to those people again, except for at these other yuppie events. I'm just talking about day-to-day, real life. Oh, there's a linebacker. The immediate thought is, Oh, that's one of the toughest
Guy's a
dudes.
badass.
That's a fucking badass. That has to be so cool, man. I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you. Okay.
You know it too. Whenever people come up and say, "Mr. Hawk, sir," they always have that. They come up to me, they're like, "Hey, get the fuck out of the way."
No, you'd want to say quarterback. Oh, what position you play? Oh, quarterback in the NFL. Yeah, that's me.
I was all pro this one year. I couldn't get into this one place, so I told him I was third string quarterback for the Colts. Both true. Okay, all pro punter and third string quarterback.
Did you get in?
Third string quarterback got immediately in. Yeah, all pro punter was told, "Hey, we'll call you back." All right, appreciate that. Very nice of you. So I agree with what you're saying. Yeah, but linebacker is one. If it's a football fan, they immediately go, "Oh, this dude has ran his body into other people so many times. This guy's got calluses all over his brain, his shoulders.
Yeah.
His fingers are busted to all hell." I mean, there was this one picture of you giving a thumbs up. It was like a super golf
yeah, it was
shot.
disgusting.
And your back finger was literally facing south. It was facing the lake while you were walking, dude. It was crazy.
I don't know about that, but there's plenty. So Pistol came up to me, like, he followed me around, and like we played 11 holes. We played 1, and then we played 9 through 18. That's just how they did it for whatever reason, because the real players were there doing practice rounds behind us, so we couldn't take up all the space. And Pistol's like, "Man, there's a lot of people like yelling out from Pat's show here," like, and it's true. Like so many people. "Oh, you think Pat's gonna get that 20 million?" I'm like, "No way!" And then they all laugh like that the whole time. Of course, a lot of a lot of hand jokes. "Man, how do you hold the club, man?" Like I hit a couple really good shots, and they're like, "That's amazing with your terrible fingers that you could even do that." I'm like, "Yeah, thanks, bud."
We did send out a couple bird calls, though. Like, hey, if you are there, we would like to see videos. And it's a shame nobody put any of your good shots on the internet.
it's bullshit.
It seemed like it was very leading
You can't
journalism.
see the good shots because even like the opening tee shot, like I bombed that thing. No one could see it.
This is all we saw.
We saw this
Where'd
one
that
a lot.
one go?
Duff.
Way right down to behind that red
He
thing.
topped it down
Oh, yeah,
into the
that's not
hazard.
tough. That's just a bad shot. Though. It was like 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Of course, sun was in your eye, too. And I mean,
it alive.
I saw a couple of your divots, though. I saw some photos of your divots. Are you an actual average golfer or no?
I can be, but I can also be horrendous. So that's just how it is.
How come at Tahoe you always end up in like third to last?
I'm never even close to third to last. But yeah, there's usually 80-some people, and I finished between like 50 and 65th. This year I'll probably win, though.
Why do they keep pairing you up with Cable Guy then?
Yeah.
I've never gotten to play with Cable Guy. He's gotten a lot
No,
better
you've
at
played
golf.
with him the last 3 years.
Last 3 years.
talking about?
You, Charles.
I've never played with him once.
Cable
I do
Guy.
like him, though.
Hey, let's go. We got to invite AJ
DeMarcus
because
Ware.
fucking Cable Guy
What?
will be in last place and someone needs to play with him.
Yeah, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Eric in Tampa. What's going on, Eric, on the 5-hour energy phone line? How you doing, pal?
Hey, Pat. Pretty good, man. Happy Feel Good Friday.
Yeah.
Want to give a shout out to Zito in the comment section.
What happened?
What did Zito do?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. I meant to say.
Zito.
Yeah, go ahead.
Zito Production. He cleared out the phone lines for me earlier.
Hell yeah.
Dude.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, that seems like that's potentially a Mitt thing. I don't know. I didn't know Zito was assassinating people off the phone.
Someone asked, he asked, and I said, sure, I will.
Did you?
Thank you, Z.
I did
Appreciate
not.
it.
Mitt shaking his head. No, that did not happen.
Comment section.
So he's stuck in
comment
somehow.
section. Shout out to them.
Yeah.
They're it's lit when you're talking about Wentz. Nothing gets it more wild up than this Wentz material. It's Wentz, sorry. But this AJ Hawk chant that gets the comment section going the most.
Oh, that's awesome. What does the comment section say about Wentz? Is it a mostly positive reaction, I assume?
Positive? Yeah, it depends on where you're from.
I doubt.
Depends on where you're from. If you're somebody who likes to shit talk every day, everybody probably like that. Wentz, he's going to come back. He's going to win a game with no ankles. Okay, that's all. I just want to hear everybody say congrats to Wentz whenever he wins a game with 2 broken ankles, 4 broken toes, some metatarsals blown out, 2 blown knees, a hip that's dislocated, a shoulder that's gone NCD potentially. I would like everybody to say, hey, Carson, I don't know how you're even walking on the field, let alone winning a goddamn game. I hope people recognize that, AJ Hawk.
I do too. Who do they play this week?
Titans.
Okay. Good matchup.
Well, the Titans actually started playing football in the second half of this last game against Seattle. And there's.
So, I mean, good test. Good test for Carson if he is battling through a lot of stuff, and good test for the Colts to see where they are.
Yeah, in the defense for the Colts, and we'll run through all the matchups, and AJ and I will pick every single game in the next hour. I mean, that absolutely will happen. But Jared Allen will also join us in about 10 minutes. I can't wait to chat with him. There's a lot going on with the Vikings. I got questions, Jared. I hope he has answers there. But when you talk about the Titans team in Tennessee, our defense, I think we stopped the run well. Okay, I think we stopped the run well, but the Titans might really appreciate the fact that they brought in Julio this weekend or AJ and having AJ. I mean, there is going to be a couple situations, I think, unless they can put that fire out on the back end and the secondary with people being wide open, and maybe Seattle and LA is different than everybody else, but I feel like that is Achilles' heel for the defense right now. That was actually pretty good at that last year. And then on the other side of this thing, if Carson can't move, that might actually help. That might actually help our entire thing. We'll be able to keep the ball. You know what I mean?
You might be right. It will help the safety of his body, hopefully, if he doesn't scramble around and he tries to get rid of the ball. But does anything happen? I know we're going to break. Anything happen with Taylor Lewan? I know he got hurt at warm-ups last week. Like, where is he now?
I don't know.
He's back practicing.
He is?
Okay, good.
What an unfortunate series of events for a guy that we like a lot. He had to stare down Chandler Jones week 1 trying to get a contract. Chandler trying to get a contract there. Right. And Taylor's trying to as well. Fresh out of ACL, obviously, recovery. Then he gets hurt in warm-ups. He's back. Carson's back. Something's going on with TJ Watt, I guess. TJ Watt, there might be some news.
He said he's leaving the door open for Sunday.
Okay, so he's potentially back. The groin is another thing. Missy Matthews, Plum alum, Steelers reporter, says TJ Watt said he's leaving the door open for Sunday. There's a lot of storylines that we'll continue to cover in the next hour. Jared Allen will join us. AJ Hawk, anything to tease for what you're going to break in the third hour?
No, but I cannot wait to speak with Jared.
We'll talk to Jared Allen. We'll give some updates on the Ryder Cup. We'll take some more phone calls on the 5 Energy phone line, 1-833-4McAfee. We cannot wait to wrap up this beautiful show and send you into the greatest weekend of all time. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Hour 2 is now over. Gentlemen, the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Coach Mike Tomlin.
Oh, man, Pat, it's an honor to be on with you, man. Thanks for having me.
You're a legend. Thank you for putting me through my workout and having the scouts actually come watch me kick at West Virginia. I don't think I've ever fully thanked you for that moment, Coach.
No, man. I've drank the McAfee Kool-Aid for a long time.
Let's get right into it. The locker room culture changed completely when I was in the league, from when I was a rookie to when I was done, and I retired after the 2016 season. Now it's even more different, I would assume, from when you came into Pittsburgh and everything like that. The dancing on the logo, the TikTok, everything like that you guys have had to experience. What is your messaging in there? How do you adapt and let players be themselves without, doing too much? Because that is a fine balance that you've been able to do, I think, in an incredible job with throughout your entire time in Pittsburgh.
I think for me, more than anything, I try to stay connected. Just getting a sense of where these guys are coming from, what's in vogue for their generation, what captures their attention, how do they learn, how do they communicate, how do they interact with each other formally and informally. And I think being a parent kind of helps me. My boys are 19 and 20, so it's not much difference between them and some of the younger guys that I deal with here. And so for me, it's just about gaining an understanding, working to stay connected. That's my general attitude, man. It's adapt or die for me. And I don't want to be one of them old crusty guys, man, that just refuses to adapt. Although I am one of those old crusty guys now.
Yeah, you are old as shit now. You know what I mean? I mean, you've been around a long time. I remember back in the day, whenever you showed up, there was a lot more, to the camera. There's a lot more.
Yeah.
There was a lot of that. Now you're just old ass man now, huh?
You know how it is. Years in this business will scar you, man. It'll settle you down.
That is classic. One of my favorite moments with you is when you would tell me every warm-up, I'm going to get you back to Pittsburgh when you're old and cheap. What does that mean? What did that mean? And should that have been taken as a smack in the mouth, like whenever you said that to me?
No, man, it was a tip of the cap, man. There's certain guys around this league that I'm really interested in, but I know I cannot afford. And you were one of them, so I was going to wait for you to physically deteriorate a little bit until you came back into my wheelhouse.
Yinzers are going to go bananas in Heinz Field this weekend. First time it could be filled up in a long time. I can't wait to see it, and I can't wait to... Oh, mama, I'm in here. Oh, my life, Is that your alarm clock? Yeah, just say yes, by the way. Yeah.
It's my ringtone. It's my alarm
clock. We appreciate you, Coach T. Last question before we let you go. Why'd you let Troy Polamalu do what he fucking did to me? Why'd you let... I know you've heard of this. Why? Well, that's a short side of the field. That's bad football. You guys coaching unsound football over there in Pittsburgh? How did that happen?
We know you and love you as a man. But on Sundays in the fall, man, you're the nameless gray faces that we...
All right, ladies and gentlemen, head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, never had a losing season, absolute legend, 2-time Super Bowl champion, Mike Tomlin.
Yeah!
Thank you, Coach.
We
we have no idea how to do the subway system, but Z is doing the directing, the mapping, the planning. Well, my tower is in 10 minutes. That train should be ready. He knew his shit. He said it's going that way. This is Zito guided tour. We're not going to get spot on the train. We should get on an Uber. This was a bad idea. This was a bad decision. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I mean, this is going to be interesting.
Are we on the right way to Yankee Stadium right now? To the Bronx.
I don't like that hesitancy.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
New York it's a bit much. There's shit everywhere. It smells like shit. There's a lot of people, but it's a hub of industry out here, you know.
Thank you so much.
Hey, let's go now, Yanks. What are we saying now, Kanaki?
Yeah. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. Underrated, we the underdogs, underestimated. We the one. Out of the darkness I rose up. Voted my soul, it's a gold rush. Honor and freedom, my toast up. Kicking game on the snare drum. Hard on the beat, let it bleed out like sacrifices. Cut it open, emotions. Spilling like oil and coasting. Therapy for my mental, I'm pinning a pistol and shoot down the criticisms individually. I heard the voices that told us. Throw dirt on my name and wish me the worst and stole us, Shot through the heart and pray on my downfall. But Yahtzee prevailed on my own. Stand on top of the
it was salami time.
On my chest like Olympic gold. Rap it smooth on the floor like a jazz song. Witness greatness, look up in LeBron home. Remember next time for you doubt us. That only made me go.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we could talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to that show. Hour 3 on this Feel Good Friday, September 24th, 2021, years after zero, with Ryder Cup participant AJ Hawk begins now. AJ, thank you for joining us. I love the way the guitar is being held there on your shirt. I'm happy you moved the microphone so we could see more of that. Thank you so much for being such a professional and a gentleman. Chuck, yeah, we know who it is. Cuckberry. Yep. Got it. Yeah, we get it. It's Cuckberry. Okay, we get it. We appreciate you. Could have wore your Ryder Cup gear to let everybody else know that, you know, somebody on this show was in the Ryder Cup this year while the Ryder Cup's going on. We have an update from the Ryder Cup. The United States is currently up 3-1.
Correct.
Let's go,
Here we
dude.
go, boys.
Let's go, bro. We're up 3-1. The afternoon tea time's 1:10, so we got about 7 minutes until the second round of battles happen. America's taking the early lead up there in Wisconsin. What was the vibe of the team? Did you get a chance to be around them at all, or did they keep you secluded from everybody? Say, hey, this Chuck Berry fanatic, we need to keep him away from our golfers.
Now you could see him from afar. Like I went to the opening ceremonies and stuff. They didn't let us hang around them because they were in their own little COVID bubble, kind of. But they seemed to be in good spirits from what I saw of them. They seemed to be enjoying themselves. I watched them at the opening ceremony. A lot of them were wearing shades, joking around. Phil was up there. I'm sure Phil looked at me and said, "Hey, tell Pat I said hello," and then I just kept it moving.
Did that really happen?
No, not at all. But you know, could have.
God,
You're an
damn.
asswipe, dude.
If I got close enough to him, he probably would have said that.
So I was actually supposed to message Phil this week. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm literally just now remembering that. Fuck. We could have had Phil on this week. This is my fault.
No,
Yeah, he's
after.
a vice
Once they win.
or vice captain. Yeah, that's what he is.
Yeah, vice captain. Assistant captain?
There's like 4 vice captains, I think, how they introduced them.
How was the hotel? Was it good beds?
Oh, it's sweet. Yeah, it's Kohler is like the greatest hotel spa in the world where we stayed. Yeah.
Are you trying to look? I'm trying to weasel
Of
his way into
course.
free shit.
Yeah.
This
I
is
know.
just like Peyton Manning after
No,
the Super Bowl.
what do you mean? No.
I love
It's-
Budweiser.
It's known.
I want
It's a
Papa
known.
John's. I got Tresemme hairspray. That's what you sound like right now after this Ryder Cup. Oh, this hotel and spa is the greatest honor.
So good.
Oh, the golf course's grass is so good.
I love it.
Smart. Good idea. I'm sure you met every single marketing director over there too. Let's maybe get us out there, huh? Maybe take us out on a round.
One time.
That'd be sweet, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would
I don't
be
have any
sweet.
pull.
You're a dirtbag.
Yeah, it does. You're shaking a lot of hands. Did you go to any events? Was there anything really? Was it just golfing?
Why were you there?
What? Yeah. What
you
did
heard
you?
him all earlier. He's also already trying to get to Rome, which is actually a pretty smart idea for the next one.
I concur. You
Roma.
should. I knew there's a lot of pressure on you stepping in there. By the way, I got to play good, but obviously I'm not going to be too good. Can't play too bad. I won't get invited again. So you had a nice happy bounce. Was there any events or anything? Did you mingle? Was there food? Was there?
I mean, we mingled with all of, like the European team and the American team. We were together the whole time going to stuff. Yeah, going to different things. We got to go out on the stage for opening ceremonies before it was on TV, and then sit there and watch it and do all that.
I'll say it's kind of like paraded you guys around.
No, we got to go to awesome things going on around the course. Yeah, we were. I mean, I was at the other course all day Wednesday and then all day Thursday. Like 6:30, we showed up basically to Whistling Straits. Played at 8:30
a.m.
And we're there until didn't get to the hotel until 10 o'clock at night after that night. So, yeah.
6:30 a.m. Then you got back at 10, and then you left at 3:30 for Chicago this morning.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't feel great today. I have.
What's the coolest swag you got?
That's awesome, man. When you walk in, they told me I had a whole, like you have in a store, with just all my Ryder Club clothes hanging there, and then they have a picture of what your uniform is for each day that you're supposed to wear.
God, hey, those Jordans were awesome. Those golf shoes.
Luckily, hey, because I believe I was a late edition, I filled in for somebody. My shoes didn't come in, so I was able to wear my Jordans the whole time. I was like, oh, it's okay. I'm okay with it.
Oh, those are yours. That wasn't Ryder Cup team issued.
No, I had different ones than everybody else because mine hadn't come in yet.
Oh, I thought that was a Ryder Cup gift. I was actually like, of course he gets some sick Jordan golf cleats in this entire thing. Those are yours.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have brought Rob Riggle a pair. Why didn't you do that?
Yeah.
I mean, I should have talked to him and got his shoe size before. Now maybe I'll have to send him a message.
Will you and Rob Riggle talk to each other at all from here on out?
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, Rob probably got uncomfortable with how much I was pumping him up the night before, the day of. Like my fist pumps with him was almost breaking his knuckles. He made a putt on 2, and I jumped. I told him afterwards, I'm like, Rob, if there's a camera on me, I jumped like my 8-year-old son jumps when he's excited. When you drain that putt, he backdoored this thing, and I was so juiced for him.
Yeah, congrats to Rob Riggle. Congrats on your new friendship. Hopefully he'll stop by the show sometime. That'd be fantastic. Joining us now, I believe he's a man who's up for the Hall of Fame, not 100% sure. 5-time Pro Bowler, 4-time All-Pro, 4th rounder who has 136 career sacks in 12 seasons.
Jeez.
And he tied that son of a bitch. Ladies and gentlemen, Minnesota Viking legend Jared Allen.
Yeah!
What's up, dude?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Did you hear AJ talk about all his celebrity friends right there? Did you catch the tail end of that thing?
I did. I know Rob as well, and AJ, you are going hard on him right now.
Yeah, he loves him. I don't know how uncomfortable Rob's a former Marine, right?
I was uncomfortable listening to it.
Hey, man, I got caught up. I love my country. I'm sorry, Jared. I got caught up.
Hey, listen, I love my country too. I just don't love another man that much.
Hey, listen, Rob Riggle allegedly is a guy, if you're going to love somebody that hard, you should. I'm happy to hear, though, that Rob Riggle will be uncomfortable with how much AJ has talked to him about him. But I guess the guy's a great golfer. Jared, you're a freak athlete. You a good golfer?
I'm not bad. I hold my own. I'm better now than I was when I used to play with AJ in that tournament too.
What do you do in retirement? What are you up to now? What do you do these days? Anything sweet?
You guys caught me in the middle of some really some chores. I'm picking up dog crap. Got to mow my lawn. Got to do a little overseeding. All the fun stuff.
Isn't it crazy? Are you up for the Hall of Fame this year or no?
I am. Yeah, made the long list again.
Let's go! Hey, that's awesome, right? Is it awesome, or are you kind of worried that this is potentially going to become an every year thing?
No, I mean I made the finals my first year last year, eligible, which was cool. So I think if obviously some of these guys have been on the finals list for like 15 years in a row. That's got to get a little bit redundant, right? But it's a weird deal. It's obviously an amazing honor, right? It's one of the coolest things, and to make it to my finals my very first year last year was awesome. And so, to be back on the list again this year we'll see how it plays out. It's cool, man, but it's something that people always ask, oh, it's such an honor, it's so great, which it's such a great honor, but it's really one of those weird things where there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just getting judged on things I've already done, and so they're just pitting what I've done against what other people have done, and it's great talking points, and then it's either a total jubilation if you make it, or a total letdown. You feel like you're a failure. You're like, wait, I wasn't good enough yet.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. That's a fascinating thing because congrats on making the finals, obviously. But there are some old players that I think we know every year because they're in the Hall of Fame conversation. And every year the conversation turns to, yeah, but he was also didn't do this, and this, and this. It's like, well, instead of celebrating these guys, it turns into almost like you have to pick apart everybody. And I think you should get in. Let's get in this fucking year so we don't have to deal with this every single year. I think everybody's probably saying that in the Allen. Who's calling? Is that the Hall of Fame calling you right now?
No, I wish. Yeah, I get on the podcast, I get on here, and all of a sudden it's like phone just ringing off the day. It is. Everybody's probably watching your show, and now they're just like, I gotta call this guy because we see him on the Pat McAfee Show.
Yeah, they're fucking with you right now. that happens a lot. But in your first process of the Hall of Fame finals, what did you hear all the noise that was being talked about you? What parts did you hate?
So it's crazy. Like it's super humbling. It really is, right? Because you're on a list with people because it is not just my era, right? So it's like Zach Thomas. There's just all these guys on there that I watched growing up. There's all these guys on there that, you admire. Their games are amazing, right? From all these different eras. And so they start comparing you to these people and this. And it's like, you really can't pick or choose. You can't be mad if you don't make it. So it's super humbling just to know that what I did stacks up against some of these guys that I already think are immortal in the football world, right? Now, the crappy part is they celebrate you the whole way as if you kind of are in, especially when you get to the finals. It's like, man, they start telling you, what the odds are if you don't make it this year, the following year, because you're a first show finalist, this, that, and the other. And then, luckily with COVID, I didn't have to actually go to the Super Bowl and then be let down. So typically you get a knock on the door, which means you go to the awards ceremony and you're in the Hall of Fame, or you get a phone call and you don't. And I've seen some of the guys that didn't make it when I was at past Super Bowls, and they're like, man, I was sitting in my tuxedo at the door, sitting in the tuxedo at the door, ready to go down to the awards ceremony. Then you get a phone call, and they're like, sorry, bro, maybe next year. And you're like, this sucks. So, I could do without that part, but it's cool. And they're super respectful, and they really do, I think, try to honor all the nominees at each level. But yeah, there's a sense of, you're getting picked apart for your career. And that's where everybody goes like, oh, how do you feel? How do you do? It's like, there's nothing I can do. I'm either going to get in one day or I'm not. It'll be one of the greatest honors of my life. But the reality is my kids aren't going to love me anymore. My wife isn't going to love me anymore. So
that dog's still going to shit. That dog is still going to shit.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm still going to have the gold jacket. I'm still going to have to mow my lawn. You know what I mean?
I think it's a good sign you made the finals your first year. I think you absolutely should get in. But switching over to what's going on now in the NFL, do you still watch a lot? And what do you think of the Vikings and how they're going? Like Zimmer seems like he has been pretty frustrated for 2 to 3 years now.
Yeah, I'm on the I catch enough just so I can stay informed for when I got to do interviews and stuff. But no, I really don't watch it these days. It's a different game, than when we played. So
do you hate football? Do you hate football? And did the Hall of Fame thing bring you back to loving it a little bit more, at least, or no?
Yeah, I didn't watch it at all. Right? Hall of Fame is great. I love football. Football's phenomenal. Like high school football, college football. To be honest, I think pro football has gotten so far out of and I shouldn't say at its core, it's great, right? But anytime you put too much money into it, you got to deal with crap. You got to deal with politics. You got to deal with all this stuff. At the core, football is amazing. I like to see some more old school guys. So there's still some old school guys that I like to watch. And I think there's some young kids that play that way. I think what Brady did last year was awesome. To be honest, I wasn't even a huge Brady fan because it's kind of like, when you ever do scouting reports on him, you kind of always threw it, it's Belichick, it's the system. Man, what that dude did was insane, and I became a fan. I'm like, that was amazing to see an old school mentality, run the football, that kind of stuff. I think, this new school era gets a little gimmicky, right? And then you have a specialist at almost every position. So I'm a little more old school, so I like to see that. But yeah, I watch enough to watch. The Vikings are struggling right now. So that sucks. I still keep in contact with a lot of the people over there in the front office and stuff like that. So, you hear the grumblings and you just shake your head and you kind of laugh because you don't have to deal with it. But
it is. Hey, it's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, people. I retired when I was 29 years old after making a Pro Bowl, and I was just a punter. Like that is very low. I was tired of all the bullshit. Like, hey, I'm tired of the just all the bullshit that came with it. I was almost jaded for a little bit, and then I fell back in love with being a fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's you got to try. You got to try to watch it from a fan standpoint, right? And it is because you know the ins and outs, dude. And that's you try to explain to fans, right? Like you can't blame these guys for the attitude sometimes because there is a business. The NFL will screw you over just as fast as they'll pat you on the back. So it's this love-hate. For me, I kind of always knew it was a means to an end, right? So I was going to give it everything I had, and I was going to try to collect all I could from it as well, and with no apologies for it. And so I think, unfortunately, I think the mentality back in the day used to be take care of football and the rest will take care of itself. And now you just kind of see that inverse, right? Everybody's social media, everybody's got a voice. Sometimes you wish everybody would just shut the hell up and play football. But yeah, Monday through Saturday sucks. Sundays were always great, but the getting there, and then coaches always have egos. They always think they're more important than they are. Players think they're more important than they are. But you see the guys that have success are the coaches that can manage their players, right? Where both sides feel like they have a vested interest in it, and they go out and win. Because when one person's signing everybody's paycheck, that coach-player relationship isn't the same. So I had coaches that I used to make way more money than them come and try to dog cuss me over something. I'm like, man, shut up! I'll be here way longer than you'll ever be here. I mean, that's the heart of it. So you get that mentality when things go wrong. So I hope that's not what's going on in the Vikings. I hope there's no power struggles there where they're trying to figure out what's going on. But they've lost a couple heartbreakers and they need to figure it out because the division isn't going to be any easier.
Well, and then it's everybody covering their own ass too. Like everybody's doing things strictly. Like we know what you're doing right now is strictly to cover your own ass. You do not believe this. You do not want this. You're just doing this so if something happens, you can say that you said it. It's like that's when all the things just start. I think a lot of guys start to feel that way though, Jared. Like I think a lot of guys.
More guys will say, and like we all felt it when we played. We just never voiced it because you were the team guy, right? You had to try to say the right things in the media. You had to try to stay. I mean, I always tried to be honest about where I stood and how I felt, and I think people appreciated that. But yeah, I mean that's the downside of professional football, right? That's when you have money involved, when it's a job. You're going to have this back and forth. You're going to have the BS that everybody has to deal with going to work. And I think that's where fans, get kind of loose. And as
you're a millionaire. Player, shut up. You're a millionaire.
Yeah, everybody makes good money. But still, it's still a pain in the butt to go to work some days, and especially when you're losing. It's like they try to tell you to put on full pads and go do 9 on 7 when you're 0-10. You're like, come on, this is not changing anything.
Hey, Jared, do you think it's going to get better or worse though? Because now these college kids with the name, image, and likeness that we hear guys are making $1 million in college. Like now, what is that guy like when he gets to the NFL?
I think it's going to breed bad ball, honestly. I'm all for people making as much money as they can. And if universities are going to use these kids' likenesses to make money off them, sell jerseys, they should get a cut of it. But, I remember my agent one time said he was meeting with a guy, this was years ago, kind of when social media first came out. And the kids came in and was like, basically, if you give me X, like this other agent, I'll sign with you. And my agent was like, I'm not giving you, what do you like? First of all, it's illegal. I'm not giving you anything. And you haven't pissed a drop in the league yet. And he's like, yeah, but I got like 500,000 followers on Instagram or something. And he just shook his head. He's like, I can't deal with young kids anymore. So he's like, I'm only going to represent vets. But that's this mindset of, people are too, for us, think about when we got drafted, right? You want to come in the NFL, make a name for yourself, make some money. And that was all, there were stepping stones to that. And I think it's kind of reversed now. Like you said, these kids are coming in, making millions of dollars coming. Like some of them are going to take a pay cut. League minimum will be a pay cut for some of these kids. And so how is that going to breed hunger? How is that going to breed? So hopefully you got a lot of self-motivated people that just want to be great and you don't see a dip in the quality of play. And then, with that turn, now you're going to have a different type of athlete. So I think you look at coaches like Zim, some of these more old school coaches, that's not going to translate. You're going to you see what they're doing in Arizona. You see what they're doing out in, LA, where they got these younger coaches that can vibe with these players better because that old school, bang your head against the wall, you're not going to get praise for doing things right. You're expected to do things right. I think that's going to go by the wayside.
I think we all are on the same page. Like, hey, go get your money. I want everybody to get money. I want everybody to be a billionaire. But I think whenever some things are given to some people at an age and maybe they're not mature enough to fully believe it, you could see how they maybe stop dealing in not dealing, but stop buying all the way into the team and more so like, oh, this is profiting me, my family, everything I got going on. You can see how that could potentially stray away from what it used to be when I'm just trying to survive this workout with my teammates. That's what college football used to be. I'm just trying not to die right now with them. Yeah. And then hopefully whenever we play, we're good. Now it's a whole new world. Everything's going to have to evolve, obviously, and hopefully we'll be able to watch that whole thing. When you look back on your career, Jared, your favorite play you ever had, and why was it Dan Orlovsky? It was, wasn't it?
That play was awesome just for a couple of reasons. Because I think that year Kevin Williams was already up on me in the sack race in our own room, right? I think he might have had like 4 that game or something like that. He was already killing it, and so to come off and get a freebie and to be a safety and to watch another grown man run from somebody out of bounds and then pretend like he didn't know about it, right, Dan? We've talked about this. Love you. You're great, dude. But you knew you were out of bounds. he kept running like he was still going to throw the ball, you know? No, I think I was just laughing, and that one was funny. But honestly, one of my favorite plays of all time was my very first offensive touchdown. It was against San Diego. I think it was my 4th year in the league. And we'd been practicing her coming in because we had Tony Gonzalez, Jason Dahn, and Chris Wilson all at tight end. Chris was a 2nd-round pick in our class. You know, obviously Tony Gonzalez, Hall of Famer, Jason Dahn was a beast. So all these dudes were so pissed that I got the call to tell them. And so, but I told him, I was like, hey, I tell you what, if I score, I'm going to do every single one of your guys' celebrations.
Oh, that's nice of you. That's very nice of you.
So I did it all. Tony dunks the ball, so I dunked the ball. You know, JD used to pick up Larry Johnson as he scored a touchdown. He did whatever the diamond cutter thing was, or he was with Rock Nation or something like that at the time. Yeah. So I honored them by doing all of them, and then they all got a kick out of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hey, what was it like when Brett Favre came to your team? Like when you heard he was going to be there, and then when he was in the building, what was it like? How did he add to your team?
Dude, honestly, like I never thought I could fanboy and fangirl out over somebody.
Oh, like AJ? Like AJ with Rob Riggle?
Yeah, like AJ.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, so you did do it.
I still didn't do it as hard as AJ.
Oh,
and I know Rob. Rob's a great dude. But man, that was impressive. And no, you know what I realized how special he was? Like, so he came into the facility. Jill just picked him up at the airport and they're driving in. And we're all up in the cafeteria. And you had all these grown men's faces plastered against the window, right? And I'm looking down the line, and it's all pros, Pro Bowlers, like dudes, vets that have been in the league that have, had clout to their name. Everybody just gawking as this dude came in. And then you got to see why he was great. You know, his work ethic was second to none. He brought a different energy level to practice. He's one of those guys that he made really good players raise their own expectations, and I think that's, like, he's one of those generational players. Like there's great players and then there's generational players. And he's one of those guys that comes along, every so often that literally makes even really good players try to step their game up. And then you just saw it in the hustle. You saw it in the practice. You saw it in the passion he played with, and it was infectious. And so, that 09 season was fun. It was a different level. And for me, I'd had some good core. I had Trent Green in Kansas City, but Minnesota, we never had a true franchise quarterback. And then when Brett came in, you saw with that franchise quarterback how that can elevate you as a team. And then you play with a confidence. And just like winning or losing can be contagious, winning is contagious. I mean, we won some games we shouldn't have just because we believed we could win, and we had a guy at the helm, and you play loose, you play free. So it was a cool deal. It's something I'm glad I got to experience.
Teams learning how to win is a big deal. I think you're seeing it with some of the teams in the NFL right now. It's like those close games that are going to go either way. For some reason, some teams always have it go their way. Like, why is that? You have to ask that question, and what is it about that place that they're winning? And more often than not, it's just a belief like, hey, we are going to win this game, where the other team potentially thinks like, are we? Are we not going to? It's fascinating that Brett Favre and his copper fit brought that mentality over to Minnesota. That's fantastic. My last question before the boys have some for you, and we're talking to Jared Allen, who's up for the Hall of Fame, second year now. He's been up for the Hall of Fame. Last year was a finalist. Let's hope he gets through so we don't have to hear people dissect this man's career. I can't wait to hear your fucking speech, too, by the way. That's going to be awesome. You were a guy that celebrated, obviously. I mean, when I introed you, I talked about it. I forgot that you scored touchdowns while you're telling that story, Alec. I was like, oh, my God, yeah. And then you're dunking on. How do you feel about this taunting penalty? It's always been a penalty, okay? The point of emphasis, though, for all of us that have been in the NFL is what my big problem was. Like, hey, let's not make it a point of emphasis because now you're just asking the refs to be ridiculous with it. How do you feel about it all, and what is your kind of take on it?
I think taunting should be perfectly legal. I think you should be able to throat punch people. I think you should be able to hands to the face. It is. I mean, that's the one I actually hate the most is the hands to the face when you're pass rushing. Now it's a penalty if an offensive lineman hits you in the face or you hit them in the face. Like, you have a face mask on. Like, that's ridiculous. But taunting, I'm all for it, man. I mean, there's a mental warfare to football as well, right? And if you can take another man and get him focused on you personally and away from his job, you win that battle and you win that edge. So I haven't really read the rule. I know I heard Tom Brady saying I just kind of caught it in the clips of my news feed. But no, dude, if you light someone up, you should be able to stand over them and dance. Like, that doesn't bother me. It is what it is, because if they could do it, they would do it to you too. I've been blindsided with guys laughing and pointing, and I've taunted my fair share of people and pissed a bunch of people off as well. So I think it's fun. I think it's part of the game. I think, like, I'm all for sportsmanship. I don't think cheap shots have a place in the game. I think, but there's an unwritten code that guys will look out for each other, because you never know when you're going to be on a team with another guy. But at the same time, in the spirit of the game, in the spirit of the authenticity of what football is about and the loyalty to that fan base, like, if I light somebody up, I am going to let you know about it every single play, because I'm going to try to do it again. Because, again, if I can get in your head, I can get you off your game, I'm going to be more successful. My team's going to be more successful. So I think they should allow taunting. I think it's great. I think it builds for storylines on the media. It's like when you watch like a fight or a boxing match or a UFC fan, right? And these guys talk so much trash about how they're going to kill each other, they hate each other, this, that, and the other, then they hug after the fight. No, I want to see McGregor Khabib brawl after the fight. Like, that's how it is. You know what I mean?
Kayfabe, dude. Kayfabe. Keep that thing going. Yeah.
I don't want salesmanship. If you really don't like somebody, let that disdain be known and let it play out.
Well, and that's like, you were an emotion. I don't want to say emotional, but like, you were an energy guy. Like, emotion is a part of the sport, and I understand that some people have been able to accomplish great things in the NFL by being robots. Like, okay, I get it that there are people that are like that, but the majority of people that I know are very emotional humans, and they have to get into it. So if somebody's natural reaction is to tell somebody "fuck you," even if that's not a normal reaction, they want to do it. I just don't think we should be taking any emotion out of the game, and I don't think we should have these refs deciding what's good and what's bad. These refs have no idea what the fuck anything is to begin with.
And that's the thing, is like, words are words, right? Like, if punches are thrown, there's already rules in place for that. But if I can entice you, so you take like a Des Bryant, like, it used to be in our game plan when he was young. You knew that dude was good for a 15-yard penalty. So we would needle. Sure enough, we tell our DBs, like, in his ear the whole time, press, man cover. Irritate that man, because he's going to push you in the face. He's going to punch you, you know what I mean? Or he's going to take his helmet off. He's going to do something because he's emotional, right? So that becomes part of the game. But so if you take that gamesmanship out, now that works against you too, because guys that are emotional can go off. I'll never forget Steve Smith. We were playing Carolina. I think it might have been, 2011. I don't even know what day. It doesn't really matter. 10. I think it was 10. And we were up there. We were beating them. Benny Sapp started running his mouth at Steve Smith. Steve Smith was having a terrible game. He was checked out. He woke up and he came back to the huddle. He goes, "Blame it on 22, Jay. Blame it on 22." He's like, "I was checked out. That dude pissed me off." And that dude went off for like 3 touchdowns. ended up beating us. We lost the game. And I was like, "Benny," that's what it was like, "Benny, just shut up. Like, we're talking to him."
Yeah, you can't talk to everybody. You can't talk to everybody. There's some people.
So that's where it backfires, and it's like. But I like that part of the game. Like, that's what makes the game fun. That's what makes that mental mindset is. If they're going to take like you said, take emotion out, like, eventually you're just, it's not corporate America. It's not suit and ties. I know they want people to wear suit and ties on the road games, which always baffled me. We're not businessmen. We're athletes, right?
Me too, by the way.
Put on a jumpsuit. Let's go to work.
Yeah.
And so I just eventually you're gonna rule. You're gonna have too many rules in place. And you're gonna take the fun. You're gonna take that that passion out. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion.
Hey, it's a great opinion. I think we share it with you. And Dana White said, this isn't fucking IBM. That's literally, that's what Dana White said whenever, he said it's like a conflict business, but the NFL as well. Like, there's going to be some humans that maybe aren't the perfect corporate humans that put a helmet on and run 20 miles an hour at people and try to run their head into each other. They might have some shit to them. There might be some shit to them, and we should be embracing that. That's what the NFL is,
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a combat sport. Exactly what I said. It's a full contact sport. If you don't like it, they have flag football leagues, and you can do that.
Go ahead, Ty. Yeah, I'm with you, Jared. We're on your side. Go ahead, Ty.
Jared, when you look at guys like Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray and these guys who are just insanely fast and move around a bunch, like, you didn't have to deal with that as much when you were in the league, but like how do you go into a game? Like how much does that change what you're trying to do?
So first of all, love the bullhorns in the back. Notice
Hell
that.
yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hey, that's Texas Longhorn down there. That thing's only about 40 inches tip to tip, but we got a couple 100 inches around here. Hell yeah.
I had a rule, right? I had a rule when I know I'm just a popular man. So I had a rule I was not going to look like a fool, right? So I had to deal with Michael Vick, and we just did enough scouting reports on Michael Vick to kind of know what his favorite jukes were. But I literally would just run to the sideline. Every time he would take off rolling, I just run to the sideline and did not fall for jukes. So I have a rule: if I play highly athletic guys, I just shoot my gun. I'll be right 50% of the time. I'll be wrong, but I'm not gonna break down, have my knees buckle, and just made look like a fool on TV. So if I had to play those guys, I'm coming around the edge. I'm just diving at them. That's all there is to it. I'm going to pick a direction. That's where I'm going.
Hey, that could get ugly. That could get ugly.
I know your strengths and weaknesses. Listen, if I break down I'm not doing that. Like
he makes a drastic cut though. Jared, that's actually sound defensive football though. All you got to do is make him make a drastic cut, and the rest of your team's coming inside out.
Listen, if I'm coming up the middle, I'm probably gonna dive to his throwing hand side, since most guys like to naturally roll out to the right. If I'm on the backside, I'm going to try to dive, to the upfield shoulder so he doesn't spin out behind me and chase him into my tackles. But if I'm in the open field, I'm just jumping. I'm just gonna cross body him.
I had Antonio Brown one time, 53 1/3 wide, right in the middle of the field with 10 of my family members watching in Pittsburgh. I accidentally, because every time I made a tackle, it was on the sideline. So I'm basically just pressing somebody to the sideline. I'm using the sideline as a part. I had Antonio Brown with 53 1/3, and I tried just to one of these. Oh my God. I've never felt like a worse athlete I didn't even fucking touch him. I fell.
That's the thing. You look ridiculous. You're like, I should have just picked the side and dove. Like I should have just went for it. Yeah, just run hard. Yep. Well, see, I came in long snapping too, and I used to have to cover on the scout team my rookie year against Dante Hall. Are you kidding me? They called this dude the X Factor, and you want me at 270 pounds to go down there and try to break down and tackle this guy? No, I'm just going to pick a side. And because if he cuts into me, it's lights out for him. Oh, well.
Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Jared, you mentioned Steve Smith as one of the guys who would get, shit talked to him and then just come alive. Were there any linemen that you went up against that, you would try and go back and forth, get in their head a little, and then they would just be lights out for the rest of the game?
No, so for me, it was the opposite. If you wouldn't talk to me, that was a problem. So guys like Walter Jones didn't say a word, right? The dude, I only got to play him a couple times in preseason, but one time in regular season. Didn't talk, right? When I used to play for the Chiefs, I played like Brian McKinney, wouldn't say a word. But there's offensive linemen out there that don't speak, and those are the worst because then it's boring. They're just sitting there. You're like, come on, give me something over here. So I always loved playing guys like Donald Penn, because obviously him and I would go back and forth. Anybody I could get John with me.
Jesus, Jared. Is that David Baker calling you all these times?
All right, you're in.
All right, he's out. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a great interview, Jared. Yeah. I love that guy. He's out in the middle of the woods right now. Legit.
Yeah, I mean, he is like a legit cowboy. That's what he does, I feel like.
Were you out in he played out in Tahoe?
Yeah, I played with him before. He's gotten much better. He's better than me now, so I'm sure he plays in groups that I am not in. But, he's awesome. He's the man.
He's out of Tahoe still?
I don't know if he was there this past year, but yeah, he might have been.
Are you
But
worried?
The last 2 years were COVID years, so it was weird. He didn't have all the events and stuff you normally do.
Are you worried that if I get invited out there, the road to Tahoe is going to be one that's going
No,
to...
I want you. You absolutely should come to Tahoe this year. I mean, no doubt. I'm not worried at all about the 20 mil. Like, that has nothing to do with it. But I want you to come out there for sure.
Did you not see fucking Jay Jershich, Mr. Jershich?
Shout out.
Shout out.
Yeah. I mean, Mr. Jurchich has nothing to do with you, though.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. That's why you need to look at that situation, evaluate us.
I'm so stupid for even playing into these games because now, like, it's true. Like, I'm walking down the middle of the fairway at the Ryder Cup. I got multiple people. Hey, it looks like Pat's 20 million is going to get it from you. I'm like, wait, flip this dude off and walk down the fairway at the Ryder Cup.
All right, we're back in 4 minutes. Big thanks to Jared Allen. Love that, man. We'll take some phone calls, and AJ and I are going to go through the entire game slate.
Yeah.
Last week, AJ was 10-4 against the spread. I was 6-10.
Pretty good.
No.
6-8.
6-9.
6-9. I was 6-9. Thanks for asking.
Really, it was 13.
That's 15.
Really, it was 13.
How's he have 14?
How the hell did he?
We're back. We're back in 4 minutes. You'll see then. Jesus. My entire life, whether it was driving me to practice, to go to work, the coaches that invested hours in me, everything I have done to get to this point. I got a whole town, a community, a family, a tribe of people watching me potentially live out my dreams that we all thought was going to happen. And when I get to Rock, I get a chance to carry 8 motherfuckers that are playing for a team that is in the city that I went to college in. I carry 8 people, have the biggest moment in my football career, maybe make a team, if not with the coach somewhere else. Hey, that guy's got juice, let's do it. Change the entire direction in the course of my family's life. I can't be excited though.
No.
Don't even think about it.
Don't you fucking dare.
Are you kidding me? Are you? All that just happened and everything I just said there and more is potentially happening in that one play? Don't even fucking think it. Get your fucking ass back in the huddle. You know Barry Sanders? Hey, Barry Sanders, he'd score a touchdown and he would just hand it to the ref and then he was gone. Why don't I? Well, Barry Sanders also won the Heisman, right?
Yeah.
It was also like the all-time leading scorer in this whole thing. Barry Sanders was unbelievable, worked his ass off. Let's not get crazy. And Barry Sanders had the ability to act like he had been there before because Barry Sanders, by the way, had fucking been there before. And maybe Barry Sanders, the way he goes about business isn't how everybody goes about business. Maybe there's a lot of different stories, a lot of different situations, a lot of different life events that lead to somebody acting differently than somebody that just acted, almost robotic while being one of the most exciting and electric players in the history. Got nothing but love for Barry Sanders. Let's not get crazy. But there's a lot of people tweeting, act like you've been there before. It's like, you think this motherfucker's been there before? Yeah. This dude just carried 8 people and maybe changed the entire life. He can't be excited. Aren't we a game of emotion? Aren't we a game of excitement? Why is this a fucking penalty? Hey, Goodell! Hey, eating your M&Ms, sitting on the chair, being cool. You became my commissioner. You weren't my commissioner when, hey, you dance, you're fucking out. Your sock slide, you're fucking out. We don't want anything. We want robots, no emotion. Everybody hated you then, Raj. All right, everybody hated you. And nobody understood why you're trying to take the fun out of the game. You're doing it because you want to be able to just pluck and play. You didn't want to have players be brand names because then you could replace them easily. Okay, I understand the business side of it, but we all agreed, the tribe has spoken, that the game's better when people are excited. Some things are too much. All right, some things are way too much. There were some dances that happened that looked a little bit more like basketball, where we're all like, there's no way that can happen with a full line dance. We get it. There was some. But it added to the game. The excitement added to everything. Now taking away this and making it a point of emphasis. And I'm not saying that there should be egregious, if something egregious happens, they should penalize them. Yes, please. It's not for the good of our game, not for the good of the league, not good for fans, not good for anybody. I understand that's going to happen, but a point of emphasis means, hey, we're cracking down on this because we don't want it to happen anymore. And why are we targeting that as opposed to targeting something else I'll never understand? My commissioner, Roger Goodell, is going to get to the bottom of this if Sam Acho doesn't do it first.
Yeah.
Dale gave me a big hug beforehand, too, so that's good, sir. Thank you so much. Shane, you drinking? Yeah. Cheers to you, man. That was a good one. That was good. That was good. Oh, that was. I feel like it went pretty good. Oh, look at the phone.
Every day is game day for these guys. It's showtime on the Pat McAfee Show.
Built-in underwear and joggers might be the best parlay ever put together.
Hell yeah!
Bird Dogs picked the winner with these. Previously only available in navy. You can now get the Bird Dog joggers in khaki and black.
Whoa! No way!
I got to go. There's a place out on the road. Whoa! These Bird Dogs, I'll tell you, they're going to move quick, so get in on them now. That's right. The most comfortable shorts ever made are now available in joggers. Go to birddogs.com.
Those things look tiny.
Enter promo code PATSBALL and now throw in a Bird Dogs. Whistle tip football at birddogs.com. Promo code PATSBALL. Mama told me one day a love like you would only. Woo! Don't leave me lonely. Don't leave me lonely, yeah. Mama told me one day a love like you would only. Don't leave me lonely. Don't leave me lonely. Woo!
Man, State Farm could have had one of these ads, huh? They dropped out.
Fuck State Farm. But shout out to Bird Dogs.
Yeah.
They did it right with these joggers, didn't they?
So
Go to birddogs.com, promo code PATSBALL. Boom! Free Bird Dogs whistle ball will come alongside your favorite pair of Bird Dogs. You will not take these things off. They also have shorts, pants, and the joggers are fantastic. Order them a size up, though. Okay,
Yeah, one size up.
One size up. They are a little smaller. I saw AJ get in on the ad read. We appreciate that. AJ, let's go to some phones, and then we'll pick every single game. I'm already 1-0 on week 3.
Oh, so am I. Wow. Good. So we start out 1-0 here?
You didn't pick Carolina Panthers minus 7.5.
I did, yeah. You didn't get my text? Yeah, so we're both 1-0. That's cool.
Oh, you must not have had service whenever you're hoity-toitying around with all these celebrities over there in Wisconsin at the nicest spa and hotel on planet Earth.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Sorry we didn't get your service. That text must have got sent up into the yuppie farm and never made its way over to Indiana, pal. Let's answer some phone calls.
Okay, there's only one person flying private around here. You know that. Who's that? Who's the yuppie?
I'll tell you what. We were on a very nice plane last week.
I hope we get it again.
I hope so too. I sent a couple like, hey, that plane we had was awesome.
Same one.
Hey, that plane was very nice.
Hey, but that's for work, AJ. All right, we're not just
I
going
get
to some golf.
Hey, I get it. You can get that plane every time, Pat. You just got to pay a little bit more, I'm sure.
Nah, we're not, because we don't own a plane yet. We were gonna buy a plane. All right, I was gonna buy a plane, and then literally the day I was gonna buy the plane, the company I was going to buy the plane from, it came out on the news that they were potentially being investigated for something by the whatever.
The FAA.
Yeah.
Wait, what'd they do?
I didn't read deep enough into it. I just thought it was maybe a sign from the universe, like, hey, don't buy a plane from these people. That the day I was literally gonna, here we go, we're doing this. Boom! Breaking news comes across the thing right on my phone. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is that Alchemist? Is that the universe telling me, hey, not right now? So we'll just continue to dump money into other people's planes.
I mean, you definitely should have held that over their head and got it for a lot cheaper.
Well, that's still potentially a part of this.
Hey, I heard someone told me that book that Aaron suggested this past week is banned, or it has been banned at some point.
Yeah, some of them.
The Giver?
The Giver has been.
I didn't know why,
schools.
but yeah.
This thing's been canceled?
Yeah, but not for anything.
They canceled The Giver?
Tried to.
For what? Oh, no. What's it do? What happened?
Well, it was almost December, and Jonas was beginning to be frightened. No, wrong word, Jonas. Frightened meant that deep, sickening feeling of something terrible about to happen. Frightened was the way he had felt a year ago when he had an unidentified aircraft had overflown the community twice. Is it because of aliens?
Temporary ban in 1995.
Oh, so
for what?
So why'd you bring that up?
Free thinking.
Why'd you?
It made me think, because when they told me this, I'm like, oh, I had no idea.
Parents complained of violence and sexual passages.
Big deal.
Yeah, it's The Giver, dude. It's a fucking rite of passage.
Not the Taker, is it? Right?
Thank you, Take.
Damn.
Which one's better?
Well, the Taker, I believe, is the quickest way to get canceled. I believe.
Miss you, Take.
Not Undertaker. No.
Love you, Taker.
Just talking about the Taker in general.
Yeah. No,
There's
I
been
know
some stories that have gone around.
Yeah.
Can't just be taking some stuff.
No.
Let's go to 5-Hour Energy phone line. Let's go to Jack in South Carolina. Jack, what's going on? I mean, there's been a lot of cancellations because of that.
Thank you for taking my call, Mr. McAfee.
Hey,
Thank
Jack.
you to 5-Hour Energy for providing this phone line.
Fucking right,
Thank
Joe.
you for SeatGeek providing me a damn ticker at the bottom to keep me entertained.
You're goddamn
I
right.
got two questions. One for Pat and one for AJ. Mr. McAfee, would you go on another USO tour with the WWE?
Great question. And what's your question for AJ?
Mr. Hawk, how long have you and Brett Favre shared the same fucking internet plan?
Hey, so I didn't even know that. I didn't see Gronk's interview. I did see Brett's, but the only reason I knew Gronk was on is because I open up Twitter and I see multiple people commenting to me, like, man, does Gronk have AJ's internet? What's going on here? I'm like, oh, Gronk's connection must have been terrible.
Yeah, Brett was a quarter and a half late because his connection was so bad as well.
Yeah, I saw that one.
There's a lot of AJ Hawk over there, and Jack from South Carolina can call anytime he wants. I love the USO tour. I was actually, we were talking a little bit with one person from there about our show potentially going on one. Oh, I'm not sure we're big enough yet. I'm not sure. They didn't say that, but it was kind of like I was thinking. I don't know if we're big enough yet to do a USO tour.
Like Patty Pimblett, going to the UFC.
Yeah, I think we got to get to the point where because
You definitely are, but the Pringle Boys.
No. the Bugle Boys and myself, not because when you go on these USO tours, the military's like forced to come see you, I think. So it's
boy.
You're taken away from some of their. I don't know if you're forced or it's like recommended, basically. So it's like you're at an event that they potentially could be at home. I don't know.
But don't you think if they're forced to go to something, I would assume you are somebody that would actually be like, oh, maybe I didn't even know about this dude, but it was awesome. He put on a great show. That's what I think would happen.
I think that happened after the Japan. I think I made a potential friends in Japan whenever we went over there because we kind of learned the game a little bit. And we got a chance to meet a lot of people and chit chat with them. And Chuck was awesome over there, by the way. Chuck Pagano was giving speeches to every group that we had, and we had like 3 appearances a day almost bouncing around there. It was. I have nothing but the utmost respect for the USO folks putting that on because. Over there, they're living in a complete different world.
Yeah. Where would you go, though? Where would the USO tour go now? It's not going to Afghanistan, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to Afghanistan for some time. And until we go back to war over there, which will probably happen. I don't know enough about politics, but let's just assume cyclical life, that'll happen eventually. Somebody will be a hero for going over there, by the way, and it'll just be like, oh, that war's been happening since the beginning of time. Let's just go ahead and put our shit back into it. And then... Anyways, I don't know how that's all going to go. I don't know enough about politics, but I would assume there are bases everywhere still. You know what I mean? We've got a lot of bases around places. And I got to see some really cool stuff on that USO tour. I saw some stuff that I don't think I've seen, still get leaked. I wasn't allowed to take my phone in. We weren't allowed to do anything. We saw some stuff, and it still hasn't really made its way out.
Like aliens or what?
No aliens. It was mostly just the teams, what they use, how they use. We have a special ops team that goes in and saves people. That isn't like a killing crew. It's like a saving crew. And they operate I think SEAL Team 6. And I think they would be pissed that I even said SEAL Team 6 because there's a different thing. But this crew was insane. Their training was absurd. They had their own warehouse almost. It was, and nobody really knew what was in the warehouse. But I think the main guy had read Chuck's book or knew Chuck or something, so they asked for us to come there. And they're like, hey, you need to leave your phones at the hotel or wherever we were staying, the barracks, wherever we were staying. You're going into something that nobody really gets to go to. And we went in there and I was like, holy shit, you guys are doing what? Had people coming down from the sky. I mean, it was it was absurd. It was insane. And I still haven't really seen that get leaked out there. So I'm a big fan of those USO tours. I think they're good. It's a nice little piece of America. It's a piece of the regular world, I think, showing up. But I don't know if we're big enough yet. AJ. I don't know if we're
I don't know.
Let's go to Marcus in Minnesota. What's going on, pal?
Hey, Pat. Hey, guys. I just wanted to call in. I called in on Monday. I called in on Tuesday.
What?
Called in on Wednesday. I made it through. And I had to give a belated happy birthday shout out to your guy, Teddy Tentoes. I saw it was on Monday. I'm a cat dad myself, so I had to give him a shout-out. That was one.
No, that's very nice of you.
Number 2.
Very nice of you.
Carson Wentz, I'm actually an Eagles fan, but I kind of have a different relationship with Carson Wentz than some of the other Eagles fans that have called in. I'm actually kind of sad for the guy to kind of watch him go through what he's gone through, and especially the roller coaster ride that he has been all of last season and now into this season. And I can tell you he wasn't that guy before then. 17, obviously, MVP. Season after, really good. Season after, put the team on his back. But I really think the time when Jadeveon Clowney booped him in the head in the playoffs, knocked him out 8 snaps into his first career playoff start, I really think he's kind of been this erratic, out-of-control guy ever since, and I really hope to see him get back to form.
All right, Marcus, I appreciate it. That's a pretty positive outlook, I guess. I wonder if Carson Wentz would point at that play as anything. Maybe he will. Cam Newton came out and pointed back at a play where he hurt his shoulder, and he said, I haven't been able to throw since this exact play here. Maybe that's something for Carson. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't done enough research, but it's time now, AJ, for us to do something that is going to become an annual Feel Good Friday tradition.
Yeah!
We will pick the entire slate. Last week, AJ Hawk was 10-4. I was 6-9, 7-9, 8-9, I think.
Yep, 8-9.
8-9, I think. And I'm already starting 1-0 with the Panthers minus 7.5. AJ didn't even know the Panthers were playing last night because he was golfing in the Ryder Cup. We will now pick the entire slate. Let's get to it. AJ, Colts, Titans. Is that 5.5 happening down there in Nashville? Vrabes Titans are favored by 5.5. Your thoughts, AJ?
Titans minus 5.5.
All right, I'm not going to pick this game. I don't want to bet with my heart.
Do you want the updated lines or no?
Yeah. What
it's
is
4.5.
Titans 4.5, absolutely.
I'm not going to bet with this one. I like my heart, too much.
Okay, then that's a loss. If you choose to opt out, it's a loss.
I'll pick the Colts. Move to the next one.
Wow.
I'm not happy about it at all. I just want to let everybody know I'm not happy about it. The quarterback that's going to be playing has 2 sprained ankles. Brett Hundley's probably going to come in there, and hopefully what he doesn't know is how to run the offense, so he just runs for his life and makes plays.
True.
And hopefully they can stop Julio and A.J. Brown. It doesn't seem like the Colts should cover this at all, especially down in Nashville. Great fan base down there. I'm sure it's going to be electrifying, but I got the Colts just because I have to. Falcons, Giants. Giants are favored at home by 3 against a terrible Falcons team. Your thoughts, AJ?
I am somewhat surprised the Giants are favorites. I'm taking the Falcons plus 3.
Okay, you're taking the road favorite. I'm taking the New York Giants minus 3. Let's go ahead, Joe Judge. Chargers, Chiefs. Chiefs minus 6.5.
7 now.
Minus 7 at home. Here we go.
You want my pick?
Yeah.
Chiefs minus 7.
Wow.
I know you say they don't cover a lot, right? I don't care. I think the Chiefs minus 7.
Chiefs win, Chargers cover. Let's go to the next game. Bengals at the Steelers. Steelers favored by 3. Joey Burrow, after almost leading a miraculous comeback against the Chicago Bears last week. Jamar Chase, 2 touchdowns in his first 2 football games. Is Zach Taylor an actual coach? Will they be able to cover and win potentially in Pittsburgh?
I think so. I'm taking Bengals plus 3 here, and I think there's a good chance they win this game.
Wow.
There's a whale of a play. He says he takes Cincinnati money line. I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers at home in front of the Yinzers, covering that 3 after what happened last week against the Raiders. Let's go to the next game. Chicago Bears and the Browns. Bears are getting 7.5 in Cleveland. Justin Fields' first start. Money line would be plus 290. Your thoughts?
I mean, I really am tempted to take the Bears there. But, what is it, 7.5?
Yeah.
All right, I'll take Browns 7.5.
Me too. Rookie quarterback. Browns defense is very good. Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett potentially meeting at the quarterback. Browns fans in the dog pound will be going bananas, I believe. Ravens traveling to the Lions. Only 7.5. Is that still only 7.5? We like the Ravens, right?
I'm going to take the Lions at 7.5.
Let's go. Really?
A lot of points. I don't think the Lions are as bad as some people think they might be.
Okay, and some people think they're not as good as some people think they might be because that Niners game was much different than it was. I love the Lions. I just think this year Lamar Jackson is on a bag chase. Yep. Okay, I think no matter what happens. And we also had Mark Andrews on. I like him. I like the Ravens to cover 7.5. Next game, Saints-Patriots. Saints are getting 3 points going into New England. Mac Jones is obviously the starter up there. Haven't scored a lot of points. I don't know how things have really gone. Saints have been literally the greatest team in the NFL and the worst team in the NFL. Your thoughts?
So what, Saints are 3-point dogs?
Getting 3, yeah.
I'll take the Saints at plus 3.
Go to hell.
Okay, I'll take the Patriots. Let's move on. Cardinals, Jags, minus 7.5 in Jacksonville. I got the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Washington, Bills. Washington getting 7, going up to Buffalo.
Josh Allen has not put a great performance together yet. I'll take the Bills and the points.
They won 35-0 last week. I'll take the Buffalo
Okay.
Bills.
He didn't have crazy numbers yet.
Okay, let's go. Jets at the Broncos. Broncos are favored by 10.5 at home.
Jeez. All right, I'm taking Jets. They're at 10, minus 10 or plus 10.5.
Okay, perfect. I'm taking the Broncos. Dolphins, Raiders. Raiders minus 3.5 at home against the Dolphins with banged up Tua, so Jacoby Brissett.
I like Jacoby. I think Jacoby gives them a chance to win, so I'm going to take them with the points.
Okay. I like the Raiders. The Raiders win these games. It's Raider season right now, it feels like. I'm taking the Raiders there. Seahawks, Vikings. Vikings 0-2, obviously. Only getting 2.5 points against the Seahawks after a heartbreaking loss in overtime last week.
Seahawks minus 2.5.
Seahawks minus 2.5. I agree. Dalvin Cook is questionable, although Skull Bros are saying he's back. Bucks, Rams 1.5. The Rams are getting at home against the traveling Super Bowl champions.
I'm going to take the Rams here.
Me too. And the Packers, Niners 3.
Packers for sure, plus 3.
Me too. I like the Packers Sunday Night Football out there. And then obviously Eagles, Cowboys. We'll address that on Monday. That's the entire slate. This
Cowboys.
show is wrapping up. We can't thank you enough for joining us all week long. If you hammer every bet that I just put, $10 will win you $92,000. And let's not get crazy. I'm already 1-0 on week 3. I continue to do the same damn thing through the weekend. Obviously, SmackDown's tonight in Philadelphia. Can't wait for it. And Extreme Rules is this Sunday. AJ, anything to say to the SiriusXM listeners before Chris Mad Dog Russo?
Nope. Mad Dog will have a great show.
Mad Dog will have a fantastic show. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. Go America. Let's win the Ryder Cup. Go SmackDown. Go Extreme Rules. And go everybody that I bet on, not who AJ bet on. Thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to all of the boys for all of your effort. AJ, thank you for coming back. I can't wait for Monday. Have the greatest weekend of your life. Cheers.
Sorry, that's on me.
Wow.
I didn't know if we were out or if we were doing after hours.
Well, I mean, we'll always do a little bit after hours.
No, I was
you know what I mean? I think we always have to do a little.
Completely thrown off.
Yeah, we do have to run to the airport here. We should answer these calls real quick, though. Let's go to Gavin in Detroit on the 5-Hour Energy phone line. Go to 5hourenergy.com. Use promo code McAfee. Get 10% off your order until the end of the month. There's over 15 flavors to choose from. Watermelon, Tropical Burst, cherry, peach mango, and many more that taste absolutely fantastic. Get you from A to B as I'm drowsy to super energy for 5 hours with our friends at 5-Hour Energy. On the 5-Hour Energy phone line, that's promo code McAfee for 10% off, is Gavin in Detroit. What's going on, Gavin?
Oh, what's going on, Pat, AJ, and the boys on this Feel Good Friday? How we all doing?
Good.
Doing all right. Well, I'm here to talk about, Jared Goff and Matt Stafford and maybe how the Lions are reacting to like the differences in how they're playing, because they're two not completely different but very different quarterbacks, and considering they've had Matt for 12 years, just wondering how they're going to be seeing Jared Goff now.
Gavin, great question. And it's funny you say that Jared Goff and Matthew Stafford are two very different quarterbacks, because we have a football expert, a gambling expert in here that says Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff are the same people. Why do you not like Matthew Stafford, Tone Diggs? What is it?
Because everyone, and I mean everyone, thinks that he's like this God-sent quarterback, and he hasn't won one playoff game in 10 years.
Not everyone. I think only in this office we think he's good. Outside the office, they all say what you say. That's why I'm so fascinated by this.
Well, that's all I hear then is in this office, and that's...
You're tired of it. Because Matt Stafford is viewed in higher regard than Ben Roethlisberger, as you think, in your eyes.
That would be fucking insane, but I
so
doubt that's the truth.
His Diggs' heart and emotions get into his gambling?
Yeah. Because normally...
Isn't that a tragic mistake?
Nobody said anything about gambling, AJ.
He just stays away from Matthew Stafford games, Jared Goff games.
Yep. So you don't like... But, okay, Diggs, let's say people were railing on Matthew Stafford all this time and saying he wasn't good. Would you be like, hey, this guy's actually a lot better than people think?
No.
Yes, he would.
Yeah, he would. You're just upset that it's like anything cool that comes out on the internet, it gets played out within like 3 days. It's the same thing, I guess.
Is that right, Tom?
I'm not going to respond to fucking AJ.
Hey, you're right.
Tony, I have a question for you.
You don't have to respond to people that aren't worth the time responding to.
Correct.
Aaron Rodgers said
I've
that.
said AJ hasn't responded to my text like 6 straight times, so I'm not.
fucking at the Ryder Cup, dude.
When did you text me, Diggs? Actually, Diggs, are you the guy texting me with a number I don't have? It must be you.
Probably.
I thought it was some random person. Okay, good, Diggs. I'm going to put you in my phone.
Did you say, like, I can't believe you can hold a golf club with your busted-ass fingers or $20 million?
No, it's definitely something toxic.
Okay, yeah.
Diggs, what's your area code, Diggs?
412.
Yep, that's you. Okay, cool. I'll put it in.
So he has seen your text. Go ahead, Foxy.
What does Big Ben's career look like if he was drafted to the Lions like Stafford was? Like,
Probably
that's my question.
2 Super Bowls, fucking never a losing season.
I love that Foxy also didn't cut to you, by the way. He cut to me and AJ. He asked you a question and cut to us and said, fuck it, I don't even want to hear it.
I had 2 buttons to press.
He's shaking mad back here because someone said something about Matthew Stafford
No,
he didn't like.
It doesn't make me mad when Tony says it because I know he's just being
Stafford
angry.
shit on the city, was like, fuck this city, get me out of here, and they still love him.
He didn't do that.
Well, the
not
city,
how he
I mean.
City pooped all over him.
Yeah, dumped on him.
Anyways, let's go. Nick in Illinois. What's going on, Nick?
Hey, how we doing, Pat? Happy Feel Good Friday.
Hey, thank you, man. You too, dude.
I was just wondering if you've seen this news coming out of Nick Diaz this week.
What? What happened?
Well, first of all, the fight with Robbie Lawler was supposed to be at 170 pounds, and then he publicly asked that it be moved up to 185 pounds.
I don't want to cut weight.
Yep.
Okay.
Fair. And then this shadow boxing footage came out a couple days ago, and his betting odds have dropped like a stone.
Oh, is it bad? Really? Okay, Nick, is he sandbagging? Is Diaz sandbagging? Because then I saw Ariel and Conor McGregor get into it a little bit because allegedly Nick said he doesn't even want to do it or something like that. And Ariel was like, well, if he doesn't want to do it, why are we even doing it? And then Conor came in and was like, he loves it. We love this type of thing. The adrenaline we feel, the memories we hopefully will have. Is this all a sandbag? Is this all promotion by the what's going on? I don't think I followed this.
Well, I think Ariel, part of what he was saying too is like, does Nick want to fight or does he need to fight because he needs the money? And I think if that's the situation, then they need to. I haven't seen the shadow, but I mean, he's tough as nails. That guy will be ready to go.
It's business, by the way. I don't like whenever people say, like, does he need to do this or does he want to do this? It's like, it's business. This is his job. So, like, I don't know. I think that kind of has a narrative around it that I don't necessarily love because it's like, well, is he desperate? Then you're kind of painting an image that somebody is maybe living something that they might not be. Maybe they do want the money, but also aren't desperate. You know what I mean? So maybe there's two different things there. I don't know what the image is being painted, but hopefully Diaz gets out there and gives us exactly what a Diaz brother fight looks like.
Hell yeah.
He knows what it is.
Slugfest. He will.
Even if his shadow boxing looks bad, guess what doesn't? His face can just eat whatever.
Yeah.
You know, the guy swam to Alcatraz twice.
Yeah.
All right. This guy's got no problem. You're in the fight game. You used to host a show on the MMA network.
I don't think, I would think if Nick Diaz, I haven't seen the shadow boxing footage. I would imagine he'd put it out for a reason, whatever it looks like. And I'm sure it looks better than Holyfield's shadow boxing looked before his fight.
Well, a lot of people were saying that Holyfield should not have been put out there. That's what a lot of people This should not have been sanctioned. This
is not okay.
What is going on here?
This guy doesn't even know where he's at.
We loved Holyfield.
We did. Yeah. He incredible interview.
He did actually, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Let's go to Emmanuel in Houston. Last call on the 5 Hour Energy phone line before I got to hit it the road. AJ's got to take a nap before he's got to do 5 things with kids. And the boys have Hammered Down 15 minutes after we end here at youtube.com/Hammered Down. What's going on, Emmanuel?
Hey, what's going on, Pat and the boys and AJ Hawk? Hey, thanks for taking my call. My question is, I'm a big college football fan, but, you know, the more I watch it, the more I see that maybe coaching's overrated. It's all about recruiting. And if you think about it,
part of coaching.
Saban, greatest coach in the world, if they said, hey, listen, this year you're coaching Vanderbilt, he's going 1-10.
Okay, so Emmanuel, great question. The recruiting is a part of the college coaching. We talked to Coach JB about that. It's like, that's why a lot of the NFL guys go to college and don't necessarily succeed because your recruiting is literally all you have. That is all you have. Your recruiting is what makes your team, and then obviously the ability to evolve, which I think Saban has done. Saban gave a speech about their offense last year, I think, whenever Mac Jones was slinging it around, about how back in the day everybody thought you had to stop the run the ball. That's how you win in controlled field position and special teams. And he said, that ain't it anymore. You got to be able to score points. So I think that being able to put your pride away and evolve as a coach is the football side of things, but the recruiting is basically all college football is, right, AJ? That's why everybody knew Urban was potentially not going to, you know.
Doesn't JB say that, like, recruiting is the lifeblood for a college coach? Like, if you don't have good players, I mean, yeah, you can have a good team, but you're not probably going to be competing for the national championship if you don't have a lot of those top-tier guys.
Yeah, and if Saban got dropped on Vanderbilt right now, this team, like, hey, you got to coach this team, maybe 1-10, but then the next
he'd be better. He's not going to win the national championship. I think he's going to win more than one game, though.
But okay, maybe. But the next 2 to 3 years, guess what? There's going to be a freshman class that's going to come in there, and they're going to win some game, and then they're going to become. And that's what coaching is recruiting and figuring out how to do it better than everybody else. AJ, I appreciate you so much, man. You're the best, dude.
Hey, have fun. Have fun in Philly.
I'll be in Philly. I can't wait to get over there, man.
I might see you on Sunday.
Yeah, it's in Columbus. Extreme Rules is in Columbus. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man. Will you be rotating again?
Yeah. I actually don't like pay-per-views personally, but yeah. I mean, I love SummerSlam. It was a blast. It's always like a celebration or whatever, But yeah, you're in for like 10 minutes, and then you're out for 25 minutes, and then you're back, and then you're out, and then you're back, and then it's like midnight, and then I got to fly home, and then I have a show on Monday. So I'm excited for Extreme Rules. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah. Can't wait.
It's going to be absolutely awesome, dude. I'm very pumped up about it, AJ?
So, do you get to do your McAfee minutes still during the pay-per-views?
No.
Oh,
well, at
no.
least the
I try to
Sunday
tell my
night
kids
football
I get to
game's
see
a dud, too.
Yeah, it's only Packers-Niners or whatever.
Oh, wait.
Oh, it is.
Well, it is. You're going. You said you're already going.
Oh, yeah, we're going. I already told you. We're not going to make it till 11:30 when I think it says it ends, but yeah.
Yeah, AJ did tell me. I want to go. The kids love it, obviously. And then he said, he looked at the times. He was like, is this thing really going to run till 11:30? There's no way my kids will make it till 11:30 or whatever. He said they would just ragdoll on me. I was like, well, that looks worse than if you just get up and leave, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's late. Some of my kids go to bed at 7:30, so yeah, it's going to start then. So I'm just planning ahead.
This guy forcing his kids to go to sleep at 7:30.
Well, that's because he's also forcing them to wake up at 4:30 and do push-ups and sit-ups.
True.
Yeah.
Of course, after I inject them with testosterone and HGH.
They have enough natural HGH, AJ. You can't do that.
That's why they recover so good. That's why they just, can do stuff. Babies can just run into stuff, and then it gets figured out. You don't need to be giving them HGH.
Get over here, Axel.
Come get your morning shot.
Take your shots.
Left butt cheek today. Had the right butt cheek yesterday. Here's a Rydell, by the way. Run your head into the wall 5-6 times. Like basketball dads, you got to put up 100 shots a night or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
AJ's got Hendricks out there with the helmet on. You got to bang your head off the wall 100 times tonight. Bang.
Develop that scar tissue in your brain.
Bang. Bang. Also, we need to flatten that nose a little bit, so make sure that helmet does not fit so that we can just bang the nose down too. You know what I mean, Rob?
He has been getting pumped. He's getting excited because he's got a little bruise and a little bump on his nose now, my 8-year-old. And I'm like, you see that, bud? Yeah. Build that thing up. You'll be able to hit people harder.
All right, we're back on Monday. Thank you all so much. You're the best. PMS Feel Good Friday. Go ahead and put out your favorite bet of the weekend. Go ahead and just tweet it. We'll give away $10,000, $1,000 to 10 people that get it right inevitably. Just need your favorite bet of the weekend, hashtag PMS Feel Good Friday. And then hopefully you watch SmackDown tonight. Should be a good show in Philly. Philly's going to be electric. And then we get in the weekend. We make money. We turn this thing around.
Hell yeah.
All right, see you, everybody. Thank you, boys, for all your hard work. Thank you, AJ. Cheers.